I got her there. She has the whole show to figure this out. Pay attention. About 10 o'clock last night, everybody had those skates packed away for the winter. Dead, gone, buried. At 10:30, those skates were right back in those dancing, celebrating feet. And it was quite a feat. A comeback of monumental proportions, captured completely by our own Bob Newmeyer.
This was the night Hartford hockey fans had been waiting for. A chance to finally put away the big boys from Boston. A chance to help put a personal stamp on a town that they want people to know is more than just a rest stop between New York and Boston. They had endured a roof collapse of their arena. Too many years in a poor cousin league known as the World Hockey Association. Oh, in the 70s, they could whip teams from places like Cincinnati or Indianapolis. But now is the chance to beat Boston. And how they reveled in the first two periods. How they delighted in watching their Whalers skate rings around the Bostonians. Forced defensive mistakes like the ones you see in Pee-wees and Bantams. 5-2, 20 minutes left. After two periods, the Bruins were as dead as a 150-year-old oak tree, and no one knew it any more than their frustrated scorer, Cam Neely.
A lot was going through my mind. You know, I mean, I want to try so hard to help the hockey club, and not getting much going. It's you know, it was tough on me.
And it had to be tough on Coach Mike Milbury, who could not hear the chorus of second-guessers who by this time were cursing him for starting Reggie Lemelin, not Andy Moog. But he made the move.
I'm thinking a little bit about Friday night. You know, give Andy a little work and go back at it if we can't get in it. Wasn't giving up the ghost at that point, but felt that the change would maybe spark a team.
I just take it as a no-lose situation. Anytime you come off the bench, no one's expecting you to go in and put on a performance that's going to turn the game around for your team. And tell you the truth, I didn't. It was the guys and their efforts.
What led the Bruins back was the classic combination of lady luck and sheer persistence. Under the leadership of relentless center Dave Poulin, a cagey head from Philly, and the doggedness of rookie defenseman Bob Beers out of the University of Maine, the Bruins began their march. First Poulin scored, then Beers, brilliantly set up by the artful Janney.
It's funny, as hard as goals are to come by in the playoffs, if you can get it rolling, you know, you seem to find a way to put them in sometimes. And we haven't had a stretch like that in this playoffs at all. And we got a couple of great bounces tonight, and that's what we were looking for.
In fact, the sport's fickle lady, Miss Dame Fortune, came a-calling midway through the third period. How else do you explain the Whalers caressing the goal pipe? How else do you explain sharpshooter Scott Young missing the ocean from the shore?
Two instances where they've Lady Luck was on our side, and you know, you get a little picked up too, you know, especially when we scored early, and then that happens, you figure, hey, there's a chance. There's somebody there to help us.
Beers trying to keep it in, does, to Burridge, Burridge to Poulin, score! The Boston Bruins tie it with 3 straight goals, Dave Christian. Break with Poulin, Poulin may be open, over the line, Burridge, in, and it rolls in, and Sidorkovich, it's in the net! The Bruins score with 1:44 left!
Athletes deal with luck and fortune and bounces and things like that, good and bad.
Try and plow through them. Hopefully you're going to get your share of yours. And it seems that maybe they are created by hard work. Sometimes they aren't. Sometimes they're created by the true, you know, meaning of the word luck. But I think if you work hard enough, you'll get your share. It was one of the biggest I've scored. I'll tell you what. I think what you're looking at, I just hope this is going to carry us a little bit of the ways now. We're a team that, you know, that wins a lot of low-scoring games, so maybe we need one of those now and then. It bounces in weird off somebody, just as the last one did tonight.
For the Whaler players and their shell-shocked fans, a line from singer Harry Chapin. Whatever they had once was gone. Bob Newmeyer, TV4 Sports.
All right, Newman, we're going to show you the game winner again. BZ photographer Tom Raycamp's shot will show you exactly what happened. Sidorkovich accidentally knocks it in with his glove. With all the breaks going the Bruins' way, the final period, this was the ultimate. Here's what Sidorkovich had to say about the goal that he himself knocked in.
And he just kind of shoveled it towards the net, and both of those guys were fighting for position. And by the time I turned around, it was just going off somebody, just trickling into the corner.
Well, now we know who knocked it in. Either Sidorkovich was unaware that he was the guilty party or he wasn't admitting it. That, of course, a tough way to lose for the Hartford Whalers.
It was just a tough goal to lose it on, and you know, it's pretty unbelievable right now. We're just going to have to try and forget about it and think about Game 5.
But all the news is not good for Game 5. Ray Bourque probably will not play on Friday night. His hip is feeling better, but not good enough. Earlier today, he said he is shooting for a return now on Sunday.
It doesn't look like tomorrow night will be, only if I wake up and there's a big improvement tomorrow, but it's been improving every day. I'm doubtful for tomorrow night, and hopefully I think I got a good shot for Sunday night to play.
Bourque watched last night's game from his home. He was thrilled about his teammates' great come-from-behind effort, but he says the win will not influence his decision on when he'll be back.
Win was great last night. I mean, you know, that was a super win, but, you know, even if it would be any kind of situation, I mean, the minute I'm ready to come back, I'll come back. And, but I got to be able to do something out there. I got to be able to skate and get around all right. And I'm not saying I got to be 100%, or I think I could still help the team if I go out there and playing at 80 or whatever. But right now, I'm not even at that point.
On the theory that you don't or can't see enough of a good thing, we're going to show you one more time to finish up the sportscast last night's incredible winning goal for the Boston Bruins.
Pullen may be open. Over the line, Burridge in. And it rolls in, and Sidorkovich, it's in the net! The Bruins score with 1:44 left!
From the side angle, from our photographer Tom Raycamp's view, you can see Sidorkovich. The puck is brushed in by the back of his glove. Tough luck, but you know, we'll keep it. How's that?
We'll take it.
Okay, you got those two names?
And like a boxer on the way down, they clung, clutched, and hung on as the Whalers built a sizable 5-2 lead.
It was looking pretty damn bleak.
So the Bruins walked off the ice at the end of the second period with the visions of their glorious season dancing in their heads. And then it happened.
Pullen over the line. The drop pass, Wesley moves in. In front, shots. Score! Pullen finally jammed it home, and that makes it 5-3.
They say a 2-goal lead in hockey is the hardest one to hold on to, and so all of a sudden, with 18 minutes to go, we only had a 2-goal lead to worry about.
Invariably in the playoffs, a surprise guy steps up and takes charge. Enter surprise guy Bob Beers.
Along the line right in. Score! Bob Beers, the rookie!
He's been in Maine most of the year, but he handled Janney's pass perfectly.
I didn't put it in the net. See, it's harder to put it in the little 6'4" thing than it is to hit somebody. You know, that's why all the goal scorers get the big bucks. Very confident with the puck. I'm surprised to see a guy come into this situation, which is, you know, a pressure cooker, no doubt about it. And he's playing with a lot of confidence and poise.
In the deciding third period, Beers made reads like a veteran, made key decisions correctly, emerged as the difference on defense, and, dare I say it, looked Bourque-like.
No, no, don't say that. I was real tired there, so it was a total team effort. You know, it's no one individual. And I'm just glad that we won.
It was Beers' determination that kept the puck in the zone that eventually worked its way to Dave Christian. And the Bruins had tied it. Down 5-2, suddenly their offense surged to stun the Whalers.
That just comes from the team not quitting, not allowing ourselves to quit and pack it in. They just kept coming, throwing the puck at the net, and kept crashing at the net.
48 left.
The Whalers had made the classic tactical error. They had a champion on the ropes, but instead of knocking them out, they let them up off the mat.
Over the line, Burridge in, and it rolls in, and Sidorkovich, it's in the net! The Bruins score with 1:44 left! Yes, yes, yes! Woo-hoo! Yes, guys! Yes, guys!
By no means we can be satisfied. Definitely there's 2 more games to be won, and this is a milestone. We got a long way to go yet.
We're hoping that Raymond Bourque enjoyed the game and didn't hurt himself jumping up and down off the couch.
What do you think
You know, I don't look excited at him, but I could kiss you, baby.
No. There were a lot of happy people in Hartford last night. I'm Ed Harding, SportsCenter 5.
fans here wearing white as they did here on Monday night. Kerry Fraser is tonight's referee. The linesmen are Shane Heyer and Swede Knox. Brad Lazarowicz is the alternate. The off-ice officials from New York Rangers, and it is Reggie Lemelin in goal. He lost to 4-3 in the opener of this series at Boston Garden. Jerry referred to that big game against St. Louis late in the regular season. That was a shutout that got the Bruins back of the beam. And Peter Sidorkovich has been outstanding. That save percentage almost at 91% to lead the way for the Hartford Whalers.
And what a save on Dave Poulin the other night in the late going. Sensational.
Whalers open with Mikhail Anderson, Mike Tomlak, and Scott Young in front of Brad Shaw and Grant Jennings. Dave Poulin centers the line for the Bruins. Lyndon Byers and Randy Burridge are on the wings. Byers with a pass knocked down, and Jennings takes it. The Bruins open with Alan Peterson and Gary Galley on defense. Galley once again wearing the C for one of his defense partners. Raymond Bourque on the sidelines with that injured hip. He says that he should be ready for Game 5 of this series at Boston Garden on Friday night. Dave Poulin battles Tomlak for the puck, and it rolls back to Galley. Lyndon Byers had it slapped away by Mikhail Anderson. And now we get Tomlak and Byers bumping as the teams make changes. Poulin will wrist it into the Hartford zone. Sidorkovich out to play it. Keeps it away from Cam Neely. And the Whalers move it out. Craig Janney intercepts. Jim Weimer is paired with Glenn Wesley in the Boston back line. Greg Hawgood takes that left wing spot to join Janney and Neely for tonight's game. Janney's taken down by Dean Evison as Neely keeps the play in. Ulf Samuelson out for Dave Tippett. Tippett angles the pass into the Boston zone. Lemelin lifts it away. Evison fires in front. They score! It hit Jim Weimer's stick and deflected in at 118.
Well, all Dean Evison was interested in doing was getting the puck towards the front of the net, where this guy right here, Dave Tippett, was all alone. And we'll see number 30 down below on your screen redirect this puck right to Reggie Lemelin's legs. Reggie, a very intelligent goaltender, knew that he was going to have to play Tippett if the pass was successful. But we'll watch it right from ice level. We'll see it change directions. Reggie was just in the process of turning and going to take care of Dave Tippett. But an early goal for the Whalers. And what a series Dean Evison's got, and he'll get credit for this goal as it went off of Jim Weimer.
They say it's an unassisted goal, as Lemelin had put that puck in the corner, and Evison fired it in off Weimer's stick from there at 118. John Carter bothered by Pat Verbeek. Todd Krieger storms through there. Out comes Bobby Carpenter for the Bruins. Tries to step around Randy Ledesser. Can't do it. Brad Shaw can't get rid of the puck, though, as Bob Sweeney sends it behind the net. Sweeney tried to pick it up, and Shaw has it once again. Galley had it slapped away by Krieger. It's recovered by Bob Sweeney. Carpenter shovels it over to Don Sweeney, and he'll drive the puck into Hartford ice. Boston changes up. Dave Christian gets to the puck, slides it through the goal mouth as Verbeek lifts it out over Francis's head. Bob Beers tried to play it in, and it hit higher, actually hit someone on the bench and came back out on the ice to get the whistle. We've played just over 2 minutes here in period one. Mike Milbury's Bruins trail 1-0. Hartford Whalers hockey on Sports Channel is brought to you by Bud Light. Everything else is just a light. And by People's Bank. If you think it's important, we do too. By today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see what's new for 1990 and discover for yourself why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America.
Well, the Whalers caught a break on the goal by Evison, but the Bruins will not do anything fancy or different this game. They're going to try and play solid defense as we look at the coaches, Rick Lee in the left. Mike Milbury, he's very concerned with his defense, Rick, without Raymond Bourque. There's no question about that, and he'll be talking to them a lot as this game progresses. But it's Bruins, regardless of what happens, unless the Whalers get a big lead, they're going to play it close to the vest.
Alan Peterson won the race for the puck. Dave Babbage who scored a big third-period goal on Monday, starts the rush. Jody Hall shoots. He just sends it wide. Corriveau trying to work it toward the net. He's bumped. He centers. Ferraro shoots, and it's blocked. Corriveau fires in front. Hall, without his helmet, recovers it. Samuelson's shot is knocked down. Ferraro keeps the play alive. Dave Babbage throws it down the boards. Randy Burridge trying to get away from Kerry Fraser. Gives it up to Hull. And Corriveau is dumped by Peterson. Crowd's upset as Babbage finds Corriveau. He centers, and it's off Ray Ferraro's skate. He was well covered by the rookie Beers.
Good pressure. Ray Ferraro, he's really struggling in front of that net, Rick. There's times when that goal would have been in. He just couldn't get the handle on it, but they'll come.
Whalers have the unit that opened the game on the ice. Tomalak, Anderson, and Young. Bobby Gould is rushed by Ulf Samuelson. They collide, and Mikhail Anderson backhands it to the point. Wesley knocks over Scott Young, fires in for the puck. Kerry Fraser ended up in that collision as well. The Bruins will reorganize at center.
That's the second time Kerry Fraser's been decked in this game. He's got a little too close to the action.
Lyndon Byers corrals that elusive puck. Played away by Samuelson. Byers has it again. He'll bounce it wide. Gould leaves it for Peter Duras. And the Whalers take over. Tomalak lifts it out of any potential trouble. Hartford has the 1-0 lead. We've played nearly 4 minutes. Cam Neely is on. Whalers get Tippett, Evason, and Dineen on the ice, the unit they would like against Cam Neely and company. Grant Jennings sails the pass out to center. It's taken by Don Sweeney. Weimer with a quick pass behind Neely. Sidorkovich comes out to handle it. Shaw is rushed in there by Greg Hawgood. Hawgood, who played a wing in junior, a defenseman by trade as he became a pro, and he's played everywhere but in goal this season for the Bruins. He's been their utility man. And he played well earlier in the season with Janney and Neely. Milbury going back to that combination. It produces a scoring chance, but Sidorkovich has the save. It's Dineen to wrist it in. Weimer chased by Dineen. Weimer with a pass out for Janney. He had 2 assists in his first appearance in this series on Monday night. Don Sweeney plays it in deep. Boston wants to turn it over in a line change now. Adam Burt, whose initial appearance in this series was also on Monday, can't penetrate that Boston zone. Randy let us serve with a pass to Francis. Krieger's waiting. He tries to spin away from Galley. Verbeek looking for that puck. Francis and Carpenter collide in their efforts to get to it. And the puck dribbles to Levelin, kept alive by Verbeek. Francis on the stop-in try is blocked by Levelin. Francis nearly beat him to the post. Samuelson sends it wide. Carter leads it out, and Babbage had it lifted away. Carpenter fires in front, and it was deflected by Samuelson over Bob Sweeney's stick. Wesley had trouble with the puck, but he managed to keep it away from Verbeek. Ivan Corriveau steps off the Whaler bench. He'll join the action. Carter sends it in towards Sidorkovich. Samuelson. The pass to Ferraro. He tips it out of the zone. We've had no whistle since Hull's last shift on the ice, so he still is without a helmet. Here's Christian with a pass in front, and Burridge was well covered by Babbage, and the Whalers clear.
That's the type of pace it is. That's 4 shifts. I should say 3 shifts, and this is the 4th since Jody Hull lost. The last was on the ice and lost his helmet.
1-0 Hartford leads on an unassisted goal by Dean Evason. Ferraro takes on Wesley. Puck is poked along, and Randy Burridge starts it out of the 3-on-2, but they're held up at the red line by Grant Jennings, and the Whalers and Bruins will make changes on the fly.
Rick, it leads me to think one thing. The Whalers are making terrific changes very quick.
That puck makes it all the way back through to Sidorkovich. Scott Young held up by Alan Peterson as he tries to force the play, and Brad Shaw will try the other side. Galley ran into Mikhail Anderson. The Whalers move it out. It's Mike Tomalak circling back. Makes the pass to Ladouceur as he just steps on for Jennings. Gave it up to Galley. Ahead for Hawgood. Craig Janney back to Hawgood, looking for Neely. He couldn't reach it. Tomalak slaps it off the boards.
I think the Whalers would like to have a whistle right now, Rick. They're just running around. They're just allowing the Bruins to come at them a little too often.
Ladouceur and Neely hit the ice. Samuelson clears the zone. Wesley to Hawgood. He's met by Samuelson. Dineen works the puck free. Tippett is in there quickly. He's got big Jim Weimer all over him. And there's another helmet that goes flying as Tippett continues to battle along with Dineen for that puck. The pass is stolen by Hawgood. We're past the 8-minute mark here of period 1 with Hartford leading 1-0. Sidorkovic, and it's tapped away by Carpenter. Carpenter looks for help. Here's a shot by Carter, and it's blocked in front. Sweeney with a shot, and that's knocked down in front of the goal. And Krieger starts it ahead. The lead pass is deflected by Evason. Don Sweeney.
Rick, as I said, the Whalers desperately need a whistle. They're just losing their cool a little much. They're getting in a up and down game that they don't want to be involved in.
Krieger with a shot, a stick save by Lemelin. Galley checked from behind by Francis. Don Sweeney on the move. He'll take on Shaw. Now he'll peel off as Milbury sends out Gould, Byers, and Duras. And Byers is dumped on a big hit by Dave Babbage. Here's the shot by Gould, and that's wide. It's poked along by Verbeek. Corriveau steams in. Tries to cut in front. The pass was tipped by Beers. Beers has acquitted himself well in the 2 games that he's had to fill in for Bork. We're nearing the midway point of the first period with Hartford in front. Here's Beers with a shot. It's tipped, and it hits Shaw in front. And Hull sails it across for Ferraro. Ferraro 1-on-2 now as the Whalers change up behind him. Jody Hull's out there again without his helmet. Here's Ferraro, chased by Beers. Gould scoops it up, leaves it for Wesley. Lyndon Byers. The long drive. It's wide. We have Whaler helmets flying all over the ice as the officials are trying to push them toward the Hartford bench. Mikhail Anderson races for the puck. Lemelin gets there, and Anderson knocked down the clearing pass. Galley, though, calms things down as he clears that zone. Adam Burt with his frenetic pace continuing. The Whalers are finally whistled for an offside. 9:49 remaining in the first period, and Hartford leads.
What a hectic pace with 7 or 8 minutes without a whistle. Here's one of the opportunities for the Bruins. This will be deflected off of Brad Shaw from the shot of rookie Bob Beers. And as you said, Rick, he has handled himself quite well here in the lineup since Bork's been down. You know, these college kids who have 4 years of college hockey, it's a little easier to adapt than maybe a junior coming up.
Whaler assistant Jay Leach knows him well. Jay was an assistant at the University of Maine, and that's where Beers is from. Randy Ladouceur sends the puck in deep in the Boston zone. Don Sweeney gets to it, and icing results. 9:28 to go here in the first. It's 1-0 Whalers. Let's pause for a regional break. Sports Channel's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs will continue in a moment. Jerry, you mentioned this high-tempo pace doesn't really favor the Whalers. Why?
I just think the Bruins have too much experience. They're going to be able to adjust defensively easier than the Whalers when it gets to that transitional pace that it was at for the first 7 of the first 10 minutes.
They'd be less likely to make the mistake.
Exactly.
Weimer lifts it in deep in the Hartford zone. Bradshaw is back. He's crunched by Burridge. Jennings keeps the puck moving to Todd Krieger. Out for Pat Verbeek. And he sails the pass into the Boston bench. Pat Verbeek, who scored his first 2 goals of the series on Monday night, had only 1 against Boston in the regular season.
Well, I'm sure that Pat Verbeek gets extra attention out there when he's on the ice. Mike Milbury wants Randy Burridge to play against Pat Verbeek. Rick Lee really isn't too anxious with a 1-0 lead in taking the Francis Verbeek and Krieger line on off the ice against Poulin and Burridge.
I see he's got a little adjustment. Corriveau is playing left wing against Christian.
Grant Jennings backhands the puck in deep. 35-year-old Reggie Lemelin is out to handle it for Galley. Sails it high off the glass and in behind the Boston bench. We look at Galley, the 6-year National Hockey League defenseman who started out with the Kings, moved along to Washington, and this is his 2nd year in Boston.
He was probably watching that game last night on Sportschannel, the Kings and the Flames, and said, boy, I could have been in L.A. That would have been fun to be in that game. 12-4, touchdown, field goal, and the safety.
Kings almost outscored the Lakers in that battle.
Yeah, if Lakers were playing the Timberwolves.
Ronnie Francis, who in this series has produced 3 assists so far in the 3 games. Burridge has trouble clearing. Don Sweeney will try again. Jennings races over to bump with Poulin, and he keeps the play in. Grant Jennings with a strong play centering, and it's fended off by Lemelin with Verbeek in the goal mouth with Don Sweeney. Out comes Burridge. Held up on a nice play by Shaw. Galley brings it in. The play's whistled down. Offside. 8:32 to go here in period 1. The Whalers have the lead. Let's pause for a regional break. Sports Channel's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs will continue in a moment.
One of the big matchups certainly is Evason and Tippett against Janney and Neely. They got Hoggood up in left wing now, Rick. You said he might be best described as a rover.
Well, he played center in early November, and the Bruins took off, got their great record underway with a nice long winning streak or unbeaten streak at that point of the season, and he was certainly a key there, and Mike Milbury started to spot him in other positions as well. We're going to have a penalty to Kevin Dineen for slamming into Glenn Wesley, and Kerry Fraser halts play for a penalty for the first time in this game.
But this is a close call, Rick. I want this to be called consistently if Wesley's both shoulders were facing the glass. When I originally saw it, I don't think if both were facing the glass, well, it's a close call, and it has to be called, especially with what happened the other night with Jeff Norton of the Islanders. This was very close. I know Kevin isn't happy with it, and I don't blame him. That's how close it was. It seemed that he knew that Glenn Wesley had only one shoulder facing the glass, so therefore it was okay to give him a shot. It certainly wasn't a charge, but once that second shoulder faced the glass, Kevin was gone. I mean, I don't mind those calls because when it's that close, I think you have to call it. Players, and I'm not referring to this instance right here, and wasn't on top of the scene in the Islander Rangers game, but players themselves have got to learn to let up when the opposing player is facing the glass, as Norton was the other day. This was a very close call. Not trying to bail out of it. I think it has to be called, but players themselves have got to let up a little bit. It's a dangerous part of this game.
As you just saw, the Bruins have been quite effective on the power play. At least in 2 of the 3 games, they were 1 for 5 against the Whalers on Monday night, scored in their first chance, and the Whaler penalty killers took care of them from there. They won 3-1 in game 2, all 3 goals in the power play. Here's Galley with a pass in front. It's stolen by Evason. He starts out with Tippett up front killing the penalty. And we have a penalty for high sticking assessed against the Bruins. So that power play chance lasted all of 24 seconds.
This will go to number 8, Cam Neely, who has worked very hard at not retaliating or taking silly penalties. This certainly was not a good penalty for him to take. You know, the Bruins had a sensational year. First overall. Here's the interception by Dean Evason. And there'll be delayed penalties. You saw Neely get the stick up around the helmet. But Cam Neely is being bothered down. He wants to know something down there.
Well, he's screaming at Dineen, I think.
Well, that answers the question. But as I continue my thought on the Bruins, Rick, they really had to stay away from penalties like this for the majority of the year to have the season they had.
Yeah, you don't score 55 goals, as Neely did, by spending most of the time in the penalty box. And the Whalers, with the discipline, Rick Lee's emphasized that. Here's a shot by Samuelson that's wide. The rebound is sent wide. And now we've got Gary Galley down and shaken up. And Terry Fraser looks on. All this taking place with each team down a man. Jim Narrigan, the Bruins trainer, comes out to check him out. 7:38 remaining here in the first period. Hartford has the lead, 1-0.
Let's see what led to the Galley injury. The play is going to develop from the right point where Ulf Samuelsson takes a shot, and the rebound will come out from behind the net. And watch Galley dive in front of it. Krieger misses the net, but you'll see the Galley's head hits the ice as Ronnie Francis was on top of him. You'll see he falls right here. Oh, right there. Ouch. Yeah, he's shaking up a little bit, but he'll be back.
4-on-4 hockey for the moment. Here's Dave Babbage to Francis, and he couldn't pull the trigger. Wesley springs Bob Sweeney. Samuelson's back. Sweeney's shot is off Samuelson's skate, and Sidorkovich plays it to Francis. Bobby Carpenter bumps with him. Babbage on the rush. Oilers have Dineen in the box for another minute and 8 seconds, and then they will have a 24-second power play chance with Neely sitting it out. Here's a pass out to Carpenter. He's joined by Sweeney. The shot is stopped by Sidorkovich. Sweeney and Francis crash into the corner. Out comes Adam Burt. Todd Krieger looking for room to roam. Can't find any against a solid defenseman, Don Sweeney. Carpenter is met by Grant Jennings. Mikhail Anderson, who picked up 2 assists on Monday, starts it into Verbeek. Oilers will circle back and try again. Here's Verbeek dropping it for Anderson. Stops, takes the shot, it's blocked. He has it again. Fire save by Lemelin, and the rebound went past Verbeek's stick. 19 seconds to go on the Dineen penalty. 1-0 Whalers in front. 6:20 remaining in the period. Dave Poulin is bumped by Jennings. Verbeek turns back for that loose puck. Weber takes over. Dineen steps out of the penalty box. 20 seconds to go, and a high sticking call to Neely is Jennings. Bothered by Dave Poulin, who's been one of the better Bruins in this series. Here's Burt stepping in. Lifts it wide. Tomlak gives chase. Tomlak fires to Dineen. He tips it wide. Lemelin plays it away from Scott Young. Penalty's over. Tomlak shoots, and it's played away by Lemelin. Babbage into Young. Babbage with a shot that's deflected. It's gloved by Lemelin. He'll hang on. 5:34 remaining in the first period. And the inadvertent goal by Evason stands as the only goal of this game.
Well, both teams had a power play opportunity. 24 seconds each, I believe. Todd Krieger's going to try and beat Don Sweeney, and you'll see the collision. Don Sweeney didn't have a strong game the other night, Brick, but he was one of the defensemen I was referring to as really trying to do too much. But you and I, we've talked about him a few times, how he's had a real good season for the Bruins.
Ray Ferraro controls the drop. Abbott shoots, and he hits the side of the goal. Ferraro had it worked away by Bruin tough guy Lyndon Byers. 2-on-3. Pushed off the puck by Babbage. Ferraro to Bradshaw. Shaw chips it in. Lemelin out to play it. Corriveau muscles his way through. Here's Hull. Out to Ladouceur with a shot. Deflected. It pops in the air and lands behind the net. Ferraro centers. Corriveau got up, and he didn't see it in time. I think everyone was mesmerized by that tricky play by Ferraro. Whalers on the move. Bruins changing up. It's Samuelsson shooting, and it's kicked away by Don Sweeney. Samuelsson fights his way in deep, and Wesley takes it. Cam Neely roars into that Whaler zone. Fires in front, and Evason takes it. Clearing pass hit Neely. He drops it back for Craig Janney. Great move. 2 great moves. Neely shoots. A save by Sidorkovich, and Peter covers it up. And Dineen wants to get Neely out of the front of the net area. And Ladouceur is involved as well.
Well, the first important save of the game goes to Peter Sidorkiewicz as he robs Cam Neely, but the flaw once again, as we saw a lot of in the first 3 games, Rick, was the fact the Whalers had the puck and give it up. They failed to clear it. Kerry Fraser scolding. You'll see the puck right here. Some fine playing by Craig Janney and work. Watch the left of your screen. Cam Neely gets it away, but Sidorkiewicz, who really has been on top of his game as far as lateral movement in this playoff. You know where we saw signs of that? A save very similar was in the last game of the year in Boston between these clubs. He robbed Cam Neely on a very duplicate play. Well, we have a little feud developing. Cam Neely and Kevin Dineen. Wow, that's a good one. It's a shame they both play right wing.
Yeah, you take those guys on your team anytime. Jennings with a pass out for Tippett. Craig Janney stripped of the puck by Evason. Don Sweeney takes over. Now it's Tippett's turn. And Dineen's will on the pass to Kevin cutting in. And he couldn't put it on as Dineen runs into the goal mouth area. Knocks the net flying. Don Sweeney took him down and Fraser halts play.
I'll tell you what, Kevin Dineen is coming back. He makes a great move here, but what the play develops with Dave Tippett beating Don Sweeney to the puck and throwing it to the middle of the ice. Kevin wants to go to his forehand here, but Reggie Lemelin, in all his experience, slides out and rushes Kevin Dineen. Now, there's going to be a couple penalties here. I think it's going to be Dean Evason and Gary Galley. Well, Gary Galley, he's, you know, he majored in communications at Bowling Green. That must mean you learn how to talk to people, obviously.
I don't know if he graduated. If he did, it might have been with honors. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Hartford Whalers in the National Hockey League and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Hartford Whalers, the NHL, and Sports Channel is prohibited. Announcers on this broadcast are selected by Sports Channel and approved by the Hartford Whalers. I believe unsportsmanlike conduct penalties have been assessed to both players.
Brad Shaw's got that look on his face that he's always thinking out there. He's trying to be a great chess player, a great pool shooter. He's thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead of the opponent.
Todd Krieger gets tied up with John Carter. Krieger goes down. That was Krieger trying to get a penalty call on Carter that could work in the reverse later on tonight. Those two have been great in drawing penalties. Pat Verbeek hands it to Shaw. Maneuvers in against 3 Bruins. Krieger cuts and shoots, and the whistle had blown for an offside against the Whalers, and the Bruins don't take to that too kindly, and the battle is on.
Once again, in all fairness, these linesmen got to lean in that whistle, Rick. Krieger did not hear that whistle.
And the battle's really on now. Verbeek was double teamed. Francis grabbed Carpenter to help out. Bob Sweeney came over, and everybody's set to go. Grant Jennings steps in against Bob Sweeney.
You know who really started this? Krieger shot the puck after the whistle, but Lemelin gave him a stick. Anytime the goaltender gives a player a stick, all his players come to the rescue.
We'll see how Kerry Fraser calls this, but we could have our first fighting majors of the series right here. Neither has really been able to do any damage.
You know, Bobby Sweeney's really under the gun. He's under fire from Mike Milbury, and usually a player will resort to this. But Bobby Sweeney, I'm sure knows, has to get going to help his Bruin team out.
Well, Jennings fired up as well. 3:47 to go here in the first period, and the Whalers lead 1-0.
As referee Kerry Fraser sorts this mess out, we'll take a look at Todd Krieger crossing the Bruin blue line and see what started all this. I think you'll see that Reggie Lemelin will give him the stick. The whistle goes right here, kind of a late whistle. There's the shot. Now watch Reggie. Oh, right there, right in the belly. Krieger wants to skate away. I guess there'll be no power play advantages after this.
Now Sweeney and Jennings have gone off to their respective dressing rooms as Krieger's in the box, and I believe it's Beers who's in for the Bruins to match that penalty situation, all at 16-13.
And you see the shots very close. The difference in the game, a goal by D. Nevison.
Finding majors to Sweeney and Jennings, roughing minors to Beers and Krieger. Here's Wesley with a wrist shot wide of Sidorkovich. Just about 3.5 to go here in the first. Whalers lead 1-0 as Burridge is buried on the hit by Samuelson. What a series he's had for the Hartford Whalers.
Certainly in the hit department.
Dave Babbage picks up the loose puck, makes his way into the zone. Tippett is waiting there in the corner, slides it to Francis. He's bumped by Neely. Francis showing good size and strength, held off by Lemelin, who is ready. Deneen chops to the puck, and Lemelin with a stop as Deneen golfed that puck toward the net.
Now, it got a little crowd in front, and I didn't see the save, but this must have been some save by Reggie Lemelin. Ronnie Francis, great work behind the net to out-muscle Cam Neely and try the wraparound on his forehand. A difficult wraparound is on the forehand, and this will go right in front. Now, let's see how Lemelin saves it. Boy, Kevin Dean got pretty good wood on it. Reggie Lemelin just dove to his left to make the save. Reggie gets better as the game goes on. He gets better when there's more work. I didn't like that philosophy of goal. How did you get better with less work?
Well, Lemelin didn't see a whole lot of work in game one. The Whalers had 17 shots and at one point had been outshot 11-1 in the first period. It had a 1-0 lead.
Well, that's a tough game to play in. The first game of a series, your team comes out like gangbusters. And all of a sudden you look up and the only shot on you after 10 minutes is in the net.
Mikhail Anderson, checked by Don Sweeney. Poulin gets rid of it. Over to Gould. He'll play it down the ice. Ladouceur is pursued by Duras. Duras played game one, bruised a hip, missed the next two, and now he's back in. Anderson checked by Poulin. Duras reaches for the puck. He comes up with it. Burt sidesteps the check. He springs a 3-on-2. Tomlak to Young, shooting a save by Lemelin. It broke his stick. It knocked the knob right off his stick.
Wow, that stick it broke right near the top, Rick. What a shot.
Don Sweeney slowed up by Burt. Tomlak dove back to save the puck. Now the Bruins, Alan Peterson has sent a stick to Lemelin in front. Sidorkovich with a stop in close on Gould. He covers the puck and the whistle blows. And we've got Poulin and Ladouceur fencing in front of Peter Sidorkovich, but it's still 1-0.
You're going to watch the Bruins do what they do best, outwork in the corners to come up with the puck, outwork the opposition. Boy, look at these guys. They're like bowling pins down there. At the other end of the ice, watch Scott Young. Now watch the top part of Reggie Lemelin's stick break right in half. Now, as the play was going the other end, he was throwing a stick from the bench, perfectly legal. A goal, you can do that for a goaltender only. Reggie says, thank God it hit the stick and not my body. That was a bullet.
In fact, another player has to bring the stick to him.
Yes, right. Well, this one they cheated a little bit. They fired it at him. But at the other end, Rick, the Bruins do what they do so good. They come out of that corner in front of the net with the puck an awful lot. You have to, when you go in to check them in a one-on-one situation, you can't worry about the puck. Your man, you have to beat him or not allow him to beat you.
Well, that's a play they worked so well at the Boston Garden.
Oh, my goodness. And when you come out of the corner in Boston Gardens, you're a little better angled than you are in this rink.
Evison and Carpenter in the face-off. Carter wrestles with Shaw. Carpenter pulls his way through there. Gives it up, though, to Evison, who was superb on face-offs, to say the least, particularly in the third period on Monday. He and Ron Francis dominated the Bruins in that area to the tune of 21-6, a team-wide advantage over Boston. Here's Galley. Playing it up the boards. Christian clears. Samuelson gets a piece of Carpenter. Wesley is rocked by Jody Hull. Ivan Corriveau. The pass that bounces to Ferraro. It's taken away by Carpenter. We're down to 1:15 to go here in the first period. Hartford scored at 1:18. A goal by Evison as he passed from the corner. It deflected off Jim Weimer's stick and through Reggie Lemelund's pads. For the only goals so far in the game. Ferraro tries to step away from the traffic. Christian wouldn't let him. Don Sweeney has it. The Harvard product maneuvers in. He's slowed up by Ladouceur. Then he pokes it away from Carter. Corriveau just clears that zone. It's driven back in by Don Sweeney. Babbage. It's time to maneuver ahead. Makes the pass to Tippett. And it's Evison who carries on against Weimer. Weimer with that long reach at 6'4", poked it away. Tippett battles Galley. Burridge has it. 24 seconds to go in the period. A pass out to Weimer. Neely had to let it go as Babbage was in a pretty good tug-of-war with him. Sidorkovich is belted by Burridge behind the net, and the Whalers react to that. And now I've got Neely in there with Dave Babbage. And the linesmen come in to try to keep everybody quiet, but they're going to have to work a bit to settle down Galley and Evison as Sidorkovich was just rocked on a thundering hit by Randy Burridge.
Well, let's go back and see this hit. I was watching the puck go around the boards. See Burridge at the top of your screen. Sidorkovich has played it. Peter Sidorkovich is yelling. I kind of think it's going to be an even call here. Well, maybe not. Well, Ladouceur and Burridge are both going. That's what'll be it.
And Kerry Fraser turns back to try to keep the peace between Dineen and Neely. Evison and Galley are jabbing at each other again. Randy Burridge trying to stir up his team with 13 seconds to go in the period.
Once again, you know, when there's calls like this and controversy like this, you sit back and say, how's this one to be called? I threw away my stripes for the playoffs.
Well, that's not a good sign, Jerry. This is when we need you here.
You can't referee under pressure.
He sure could play under pressure. I think he could probably referee just fine under pressure. And here?
You know, the referees and watching all the games on television and covering this series, I think the referees have done a terrific job. I mean, the intensity level is so high. One thing I think, though, is we're finding out that the level of intensity that these teams, not these teams, all teams with playoffs, I think somewhere in the near future we're going to have to expand the size of the rink. The players are just too big, too fast, and too tough for this compact surface.
Well, from this call, we get a charging minor to Burridge and a roughing minor to Randy Ladouceur with 13 seconds to go. So it evens out. The players, the team seem to adjust, Jerry, no matter what you do, and we'll see an adjustment coming up next year with the nets moving out a foot from the end boards. But
I don't know. Sometimes it's scary out there.
You know, you're glad you're up here now.
Sometimes it's scary up here.
Wesley backhands the puck over for Galley. He's met there by Dineen, and the horn sounds. Ending period number 1. And the officials want to make sure that no shenanigans carry over here at the final horn as Reggie Lemelund surrendered a strange goal to open this hockey game, but held the fort from there. There's the scoring play. Evison with a centering pass from the right wing corner. It hit Jim Weimer's stick, deflected in, unassisted at 1:18. The shots favor the Hartford Whalers 10-7, and each team had one power play chance and failed to capitalize. When we come back, we'll take you to our Sports Nightly studios for a feature on Cam Neely.
And we welcome you back to our Sports Channel America studios in New York. I'm Bob Papa. Well, throughout the course of the season, the Boston Bruins have relied heavily on the play of Cam Neely and his goal-scoring prowess. He has carried the offensive load for the Bruin club. You know, it's interesting about Neely, a man who is known to be such a grinder, and how he's become such a prolific scorer.
I was always able to put the puck in the net, I think. You know, but in Vancouver, kind of got shuffled a little bit, lost in the shuffle, and didn't really play as much. Came here, got a lot of confidence, got put with some quality players, and was able to get some ice time. And you know, puck started going in for me, the confidence rose. And you know, this year, never really expected it to go the way it did, but you know, it just worked out that way for me. If you see a certain spot or a certain area where you want to shoot, you got to go for it. But you know, game's pretty quick. You just want to basically you know, get it on net and hopefully shoot where you're aiming for. A couple years ago when I had 42, I didn't think 50 was out of reach, but then last year I started thinking about that too much and got myself into trouble. And this summer I wanted to be a more consistent player for this following season, and that's what I thought about, you know, game in and game out, and I think that helped my game.
Well, it certainly helped Cam Neely's game. He did get over that 50-goal plateau. That wraps it up from our studios in New York. I'm Bob Papa. More NHL action comes your way after this timeout.
The Whalers have the lead 1-0, but really the goal by Dean Evason, as we're about to see, was the tip of the iceberg in an action-packed first period.
Certainly was, Rick, and there were better chances to score than the goal we're going to see by Dean Evason. Dave Tippett will start this playoff by shooting the puck in and forcing Reggie Lemelin to play the puck. We'll see it right here. Now, Reggie's going to play it. Reggie's very conservative. He's not a Brian Hextall, but who is? Now, here's the puck, the pass. See Dave Tippett there? That's what Dean Evason was trying to do, get the puck to Dave Tippett. Reggie was just trying to get back in shape to make the save, and it went off Jim Weimer for the only goal of the period. That came at 1:18. Now, here's a great chance for the Bruin, and watch Craig Janney. Two players, Dave Tippett, he'll play the puck instead of the body. Dean Evason plays the puck instead of the body. Not against Craig Janney. He's a magician out there. Finds Cam Neely, and Cam Neely one time hit Sidorkiewicz with his best save of the period off of Cam Neely. Now we're going to see a couple of Kevin Dineen highlights. Kevin is going to bust in off his opposite wing and accept a pass here from Dave Tippett. Reggie Lemelin comes out a little too quick, misses with the poke check, but in all of his experience, he gets the legs on Kevin Dineen, and Kevin trips into the goalpost. Reggie did the right thing there by blitzing Kevin Dineen, forcing him to go to the middle and tripping. Now, Ronnie Francis out-muscles Mr. Muscles for the Bruins, Cam Neely, one of the strongest players in the league in this situation, and he tries to wrap around that Reggie plays pretty properly. That gets jammed up in front of the net, and watch Lemley. He's just going to dive and smother the attempt, the chopped shot by Kevin Dineen.
Jerry, the matchup in this series features the Bruins, the least penalized team in the regular season in the NHL. The Whalers not noted as a real physical team, yet we've had such a physical series with some great hitting. Has it surprised you?
Well, it has a little bit. I knew that the Whalers, you know, philosophy or attitude in this series was we got to be more physical to play with the Boston Bruins, especially in the Boston Gardens. But it's carried over into Game 3 and so far in Game 4. The hitting has been, it's just been a joy to watch, and it's been clean hockey all the way. We've only had one major, and that was at the end of this period, Sweeney, and two majors, I should say, Sweeney and Grant Jennings. But the hitting has been absolutely terrific, and I don't know how they'll ever improve in that, whoever advances in the next series. But it's been wonderful hockey, really.
The Whalers with that fluke goal. The Bruins are hanging in there. Both these teams are continuing to play it so tight head-to-head.
Well, they are, Rick, and for a period of about 7 minutes after the goal here, it was about probably from the 4-minute mark to the 11-minute mark of the period, it got to be wild and hectic out there, and that really favors the Bruins, as we mentioned briefly during that period, because they have more experience than the Hartford Whalers, and they're not liable to break down like the Whalers are in that type of a transitionally type of play. So I don't think the Whalers want to get into that type of a game.
The second period is coming up next. We'll also check the out-of-town scores from the other Game 4s in Wales Conference Stanley Cup play in just a moment. That could get you into trouble, huh?
A goaltender and a coach can't think too much.
Jerry, the Whalers have an interesting situation to react to here. The last thing they want to have happen is to have someone for the Bruins run their goaltender, which happened with Burridge belting Sidorkovich late in the period. Yet they want to hold their discipline. How do you think they can react here?
I don't know, Rick. I guess I don't think it'll happen again, but you say yourself, Randy Ladouceur, if he didn't go after Burridge, the Whalers would have had a power play. But still, the priority is in protecting your goaltender. You're going to tell this player and his teammates on the Bruins, we do not want you hitting our goaltender. We'll go after anyone who does.
They start the period in the penalty box along with Jennings and Bob Sweeney serving major penalties as the Whalers have the 1-0 lead. Ulf Samuelsson with a pass by Ron Francis, and with Don Sweeney back to touch up, he gets there ahead of Verbeek, and it's an icing called against the Whalers. As we look at Sweeney, an 8th-round pick in 1984 by the Bruins,
a graduate of Harvard. Rick, the face-offs in the first period favored the Whalers 17-6. That means that every time the Whalers ice the puck, they're not in as much trouble as when the Bruins ice the puck, because they've had a much better series on face-offs, thanks mainly to this man right here, Ronnie Francis, and Dean Ebbesons, and even Mike Tomlak. You know, the other night the Bruins won 2 face-offs very cleanly, both times by Dave Christian.
Francis and Carpenter battle on this draw, and Carpenter kicks it back to the point. Sidorkovich leaves it for Babbage. Around to Krieger. He's belted by Galley. Myers takes over. John Carter gives it back to the point man, or it's Carpenter from there with a shot. It's steered away by Sidorkovich, and out comes Shaw. Pat Verbeek lifts it in. Galley has to hurry. Krieger's right with him. Carpenter. 3 Whalers are back. Carpenter with a shot, a pad save by Sidorkovich. Adam Birch crunched by Carpenter. Carter tries to put it out in front. Francis controls it. Galley pinches in to bump Todd Krieger. The Bruins are off to a physical start here in period 2.
I think the Bruins said in the locker room is, hey, we're in pretty good shape here. The goal they got was a fluke. We kept up with them the whole period. We just have to keep going that way.
Samuelsson plays it out over the line. It was brought back in offside by Beers, and Swede Knox halts play. 1-0 early here in the second. The Whalers have the lead. Let's pause for a regional break. You're watching the Stanley Cup playoffs on Sports Channel.
Well, a matchup we've seen in this building an awful lot. Evason versus Janney.
Beers with a pass that hit Evason's skate, and Karam's all the way back in deep in the Boston zone. Third-year Bruin Glenn Wesley is after it. He'll roll it in deep in the Hartford zone, and Samuelsson tracks it down. Deneen curls back to take it. He's met on a hit by Neely as Evason clears. Beers will give chase now, and it's Tippett right on him. And down goes Beers. Little Dave Tippett landing a big hit, and now Beers and Deneen collide as Shaw keeps it in. Brad Shaw with a backhander. He scores!
What does hitting lead to? It leads to scoring opportunities. And let's give Dave Tippett all the credit in the world as he initiated this by taking out Bob Beers. Kevin Deneen hit him secondly, but here's the backhand. A lot of traffic in front of Reggie Lemlin. Beers gets caught up, I believe, with Kevin Deneen, and Kevin's going to cut right in front. Look at Reggie. He just pulls up, has no idea. It's passed, and that's the 3rd goal against Reggie Lemlin in 6 in the same spot. Scott Young's, Randy Ladouceur's, and Brad Shaw's.
Brad Shaw, who created a lot of offense on Monday night with some harmless-looking shots toward the net, scores an unassisted goal at 2:04, his 2nd goal of the series. Both Whaler goals have been unassisted. Those backhanders are tricky, particularly as Lemelin had just stepped out from behind that screen, and before he knew it, the backhander was by him. Poulin takes on Tomlak. Randy Burridge in there for the puck. And Burridge has it. Shaw pins Burridge against the boards. Harry Fraser looks on. The puck comes loose. It's just tapped away by Babbage. Christian was winding up for the shot. Here's Babbage roaring in. He shoots. A save by Lemelin. He sprawls and now reaches for the rebound. It's kept alive by Tomlak. Galley backhands it ahead to Poulin. Rink wide to Burridge.
What a burst of speed by Dave Babbage. He's like a greyhound out there.
Mikhail Anderson with a big drive, and it's gloved by Lemelin, and he dropped it in his stick glove, and Fraser halts play. 16:46 to go in the second period, and the Hartford lead is now 2-0.
Dave Babbage with the burst of speed down the left side. He'll outrace Dave Christian right here. The Bruins with one defenseman back. Now at the top of the screen, Scott Young just can't get to the right spot to have Babbage pass to him. He's a little late getting there as he's behind the play. But Alan Peterson, when he saw that Scott Young was not a threat, went right at Babbage, and this allowed Lemelin to walk out and make the save.
Carpenter wins the face-off to Weimer. Samuelson takes a hit from Carter, keeps the play in the zone, though. Weimer tries Neely's side. They tip it right with him. He digs the puck loose to Evison. Neely has it back. Cam Neely rink wide for Carter. He couldn't track down the pass. Dineen backhands it to the line, and now Tippett takes it from Carter. He shoots, and it's dribbled wide off Weimer's leg. Evison fires across for Dineen, and they just missed hooking up. Carpenter races back. Three Whalers back defensively. Neely had it poked away by Jennings. Trying to get it in front. Couldn't do it. 4 minutes gone here in the second. Evison and Shaw have the Hartford goals for a 2-0 lead.
Mike Milbury trying anything to get the big line going. He had John Carter in left wing in that shift.
Craig Janney strides in. He's tricky. Ladouceur stays with him. Francis is met by Christian. Adam Burt shakes off a check to feed Ladouceur. Here's Krieger. 4-on-2. Krieger to Burt. Fires on goal, and Lemelin kicked it right past Verbeek, and here come the Bruins. A wave of black, led by Janney. He centers. He scores. Dave Christian off the pass has closed the gap to 2-1.
Well, the Whalers, Rick, as you described it, had a 4-on-2, and Reggie Lemelin made a fine play. He booted this rebound as far out as he could. This led to a great opportunity for the Bruins, a successful one. Christian, number 27, scores his second goal of the series, just redirecting a nifty pass from Craig Janney. When Lemelin kicked it out, as far as the Whalers concerned, this puck went on the wrong man's stick. Janney just deals a beautiful little pass, and very quickly, the Bruins get a tremendous goal for him. But you see Reggie Lemelin, he was very wise in what he did there. He saw the wave of Whalers coming at him, 4 of them. And he knew one thing: if I can kick this rebound past the oncoming Whalers, we should have a good chance. And that's exactly what happened.
Carter and Janney assist on Christian's second at 4:35. Hartford's lead is 2-1. Here's a pass out to Ray Ferraro. Shovels it to Shaw. Shaw with 6 points to lead the Whalers in scoring in this series. As Sweeney double teamed. He's punished on the hit by Ferraro. Here's the pass out, and Shaw takes. Jennings hands it to Ferraro. Rink wide for Hull. He has to backtrack, and Poulin steps in there to get it to Burridge. Burridge leaves it. Galley takes it. Neither could find the handle. Finally, it's Galley to work it free, and Shaw takes over. 3-on-2 Whaler rush. Jody Hull cuts in, trying to circle around Wesley. One hands it in front, and Burridge intercepts. Burridge's pass is snuffed out by Ferraro. Mikhail Anderson follows up. Feeds it to Samuelson. The shot is tipped. Hull to Anderson. Shooting a stick save by Lemelin. Hull behind the net to Ferraro. Burridge with Hull taking him on. Galley slides in there, and Hull goes down, and they cover the puck. 2-1 Hartford in front. Let's pause for a regional break. Sports Channel's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs will continue in a moment.
Lemlin has in the past gets stronger as the game goes on. Here's a fine save. Good shot by Mikhail Anderson. Great feed by Jody Hull, but the right pad, Reggie, using all his experience tonight, just had that right pad a little late. He dragged it across and made the save.
Carpenter getting sharper on these draws, wins another one for Alan Peterson. Beers heads for the corner for the puck. Here's Carpenter on the move. Bob Sweeney with a pass, kicked away by Ulf Samuelsson. Scott Young leads it up the boards to Tomlak. He springs Anderson in a 2-on-2 with Samuelsson. The Swedish connection for the Whalers. It's Samuelsson shooting, and he hit the side of the goal just outside of the post. Young. Mikhail Anderson grabbed by Peterson. Young cranks one wide on the short side. Babbage gets over, drives one on goal, and Lemelin got a stick on that. Bob Sweeney belted by Scott Young. Young has the puck. Works it to Tomlak. He's met by Beers. Carpenter shovels it away. It's still in that pack of players, and Young comes out with it. Young fires, stick save by Lemelin, and he kept the rebound away from Tomlak, who goes right back to work in the corner. Peterson. Beers with a pass ahead, broken up by Babbage. He's been very aggressive for the Whalers in these 2 home games. Denis shoots, he scores!
The way the Whalers had put the pressure on the Bruins, it seemed that they would come up with the next goal. Mikhail Anderson having a terrific game tonight. Works it in. Here's the shot. Low in the glove side to restore the Whaler 2-goal lead. This is a great shot. This is the 4th time they've beaten Reggie over on that side. But really, Reggie didn't have a chance. He was screened. Kevin used the Bruin defense. But boy, did the Whalers have pressure on it. Like, that was the 3rd straight shift in which they are all over the Bruins after Christian's goal.
Babbage and Mikhail Anderson pick up the assists. Kevin's 2nd goal of the series, his 2nd in 2 games, and he scores this one at 7:02. Here's Deneen again, taking on Don Sweeney. The puck's worked away by Galley, fired in front by Evison. Allgood quickly gets rid of it. 3-1 Hartford, their 2nd 2-goal lead of the period. Galley around to Nealon. And he couldn't take the pass. Allgood steams ahead. Shoots, a save by Sidorkovich. He bobbled it, but had time to cover it. And the whistle blows.
Rick, with the type of pressure the Whalers have right now, they have to be careful of one thing. They're the team up 3-1. They're not desperate for another goal. Certainly be nice if they could get one. But they have to really concentrate on the defensive side of it. And this is probably what Rick Lee is telling them. Hey, we got enough pressure going. Defense, you don't have to be part of this right now. We don't need the goals. They do. Just go out, rush up with the play. Do not take that chance of pinching in unless you're 100% sure that the 3rd man is high in the slot. Now, with the pressure the Whalers are having, that's not going to happen often with the 3rd man high in the slot because they're having too much success down low. So just mind your P's and Q's out there.
Poulin and Evison in the draw, and it's Wesley stepping to an open area. The backhander is snared by Sidorkovich. Randy Ladouceur on the move. It's kept in by Wesley. He looks for Poulin. He's got Burridge in front. He can't get the shot teed up, though, and Poulin fires toward the net. He hit Burridge in the rear end as Francis plays it not out. Christian to Burridge. Bumped by Burt. They try to center. Sidorkovich bats the puck away to Krieger. He'll reverse the flow, and Poulin and Francis go head-to-head in that corner. Ladouceur's in there with Burridge. Down goes Francis, and he's on the puck, and Fraser halts play, and now we've got a battle brewing with Dave Poulin. And I believe,
well, I don't know about that.
It's hard to tell from here. Yeah. That's Dean Evison who's in the middle of that.
Dean took a little exception to Poulin poking at Ronnie Francis after the whistle had gone.
11:41 to go, second period. Hartford by 2. Let's pause for a regional break. You're watching the Stanley Cup playoffs on Sports Channel.
Well, coincidental calls, Everson and Poulin roughing. Dave Poulin, who Mike Milbury wants a little more production from. Oh boy, I think he's played terrific in this series, Rick. He's certainly their ace defensive center.
Hard to argue with his third period on Monday. 5 shots on goal, including what could have been a very big goal with a minute 18 or so to go. Ted Sater and Mike Milbury confer on the bench. Jody Hall works it free. Corvo is a step on Galley. He's alone. He scores!
One thing is really evident, and in this period, it's the speed of the Whalers. They're just outskating the Bruins. I'm not so sure if it's pure speed or just effort, but what a play by Jody Hall. Corvo stays onside, and he gets Galley, gets a step on him, and makes a fine move. He freezes Reggie Lemling to his forehand and gives the Whalers a 3-goal lead. But Jody Hall, who's really come to life in the last 2 games, he knows this game. Look at the position of Corvo and the effort, the determination. That's what wins you hockey games. A little excited, excuse me.
So's he. Ivan Corvo, who really came to life offensively in the final week of the regular season. He, of course, came from the Washington Capitals in a trade for Mike Liut. Took him a while to get everything going again after not playing much in Washington. And he was at his best down the stretch with 4 goals in the last 6 games. Here's Carter cutting in on Babbage. Shoots! Saved by Sidorkovich, and there's no rebound as Neely was muscling Tippett on his way to the net. The war for the Stanley Cup continues with Campbell Conference Divisional Playoff action. Catch Game 5 as the North Stars face the Blackhawks at 8:30. Coming up tomorrow, and we'll take you to the Los Angeles-Calgary series for Game 5 action as the Kings lead that one 3-1. Check listings for games in your area as the Stanley Cup playoffs continue on Sports Channel tomorrow night.
We're seeing some amazing hockey over this league. There's the shots favoring the Whalers. Seems to be an argument in the stands. A very serious argument, I think.
A little brouhaha.
Yeah. But anyway, the hockey's been great. That Chicago-Minnesota series, boy, are they, what a level they're playing at.
Corvo with his first. Here's Neely centering. Wesley with a shot. It's blocked. Francis trying to spring to Dean. Kevin hooks it back for Tippett. Corvo's first goal from Hull and Babbage. At 8:29, the Whalers are in front 4-1. They're looking to add to it. Francis checked by Wesley. It's worked away by Craig Janney. Out for the big guy. Neely makes his move on Jennings. Gets around him. Neely cuts in front. The backhander didn't make it through. A save by Sidorkovich as he held off Weaver on the rebound. And the battle begins as Deneen is on the ice with Cam Neely. Hartford's lead is now 4-1, nearing the midway point of the second period. Let's pause for a regional break. Sports Channel's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs will continue in a moment.
Well, the big locomotive got loose down the right side in that last play. One of the few really rushes for Cam Neely. Oh, Ivan Corvo, what a goal he got. What a move. What hands. Peter Sidorkovich made a fine save on Neely because there's a lot of traffic around him, and he really had a fight to find that puck.
We saw 2 first-round cast-offs seated together on the bench. Mikhail Anderson, formerly of the Sabres, and Corvo of the Capitals, and they appear to have found a home in Hartford. Anderson had a very nice season. Unsung hero for the Whalers during the regular season. Burridge, checked by Burke. Francis, over for Krieger, the lead to Verbeek, and it just topped off his stick. tangles with Don Sweeney, gets to that puck first. There's no whistle for an icing call. Ferraro is buzzing in there. Krieger left it behind the net. Verbeek goes after it along with Bobby Carpenter. Here's Krieger. Ferraro steps in back of the goal against Galley. Ferraro works away, slips it in front. Lemelin was ready with a poke check. Verbeek rolled it in front. It's simply swept away by Lemelin. Out comes Burridge. 3-on-2. Carpenter with Duras missing the pass. Carpenter gives it to Wesley. Shooting. They score!
Once again, the Whalers with pressure in the Bruins' end, and they keep trying to forward the pass. Out come the Bruins. Carpenter, one of the better Bruins through this whole series. He'll find Wesley. Now this is going to either deflect off someone or flutter be a knuckleball. You see Peter Sidorkiewicz has no idea. He is screened. The Bruins doing a much better job going to the net than in the earlier games. You see Sidorkiewicz has no idea, does not know that the puck's in the net. Both Bruin goals tonight a result of great pressure by the Whalers and not be able to react when they lose the puck.
Carpenter and Duras assist. Wesley's first at 10:24.
The Whalers do not want to get involved in something that happened last night at the Forum in Los Angeles, a shootout. That is not their best chance of winning this game.
Looked like something that took place on a studio lot, not at the Great Western Forum. Out comes Mike Tomlak. Three Bruins are back. Tomlak steps in against Beers, tries to turn that corner. Beers holds in there. Young battling for the puck as well. It comes loose. Babbage pinches in. Gould got it away. He'll clear. Christian steams in against Samuelson. Under 9 minutes to go, second period. Poulin knocks down a pass. Poulin has Christian in front, shooting, a save by Sidorkiewicz. Mikhail Anderson had it poked away. Deneen stepped into the play off the bench. Jennings angles it ahead. Broken up by Galley. Neely sends Carter on his way. Carter with a wind-up. The drive is blocked. Jennings is shaken up. It's a right foot or ankle problem for him. Here's Tippett stepping in against Galley. Galley muscles into the boards. Neely lifts it out. Ladouceur's on for Jennings. And he'll chop it out of play.
Once again, this man right here, Kevin Deneen and Cam Neely with the sticks up a little bit. But, you know, I think the real truth to this is they respect each other so much. They want to go at it straight, no sticks. And the Whalers once again, now this is a great opportunity as they skate by Poulin. Christian, who has scored a goal similar to this in game 3, is robbed by Peter Sidorkiewicz.
I think he has more shots than any other Bruin in this series. Grant Jennings trying to shake it off of the bench after blocking that drive by Carter. Sidorkiewicz teamed up with some dandy stops on Christian in the first 2 games in Boston. Christian did get one before the goal tonight. Jay Leach might be relaying some information to Rick Lee about Jennings' availability. Jay handles the defensive changes. Here's Hull to shoot it in. Getting to it, Corriveau. Lemelin pokes it away. The shot by Ferraro hit Lemelin and deflects into the 7th row.
Ray Ferraro just rushing his opportunities, but once again, Corriveau showing great speed down the left side. Let's watch this now. Corriveau is going to beat Reggie to the, actually force Reggie to poke the puck past him. Reggie was dozing a little bit, and when he saw that Corriveau had an edge on him, went out, poked it to Ray Ferraro, and Ray just rushed it a little bit.
6'2", 215, Ivan Corriveau.
What a body this guy's got. Reminded me before I had that sickness. I suffered from romantic fever.
Is that what it was? He's got legs on him like Earl Campbell had. Powerfully built young man. Bradshaw keeps the play in. Ferraro heads for the boards for the puck. It's lifted out by Carpenter. Shaw drives it ahead. Wesley has it. Carpenter has 5 points to lead the Bruins in this series. Here's Burge with some pressure centering. It's tapped away by Sidorkovich. Oh, around to Corriveau. Sails it to Ferraro. 7.5 to go in the second. Hartford's lead is now 2 again. 4-2. Peter Duras controls. Gets it to Burge. Shooting a stick save by Sidorkovich. Ferraro plays it ahead to Hull. Don Sweeney pinching in. Ferraro skates away from trouble. Ferraro flips it in. Whalers will change up. Out comes Galley. Sweeney chops it to the Hartford line. Dave Babbage, who's had a big game tonight, with a pass ahead to Krieger. He steams in with Francis. Francis fires a save by Lemelin. Francis left it. Verbeek back to Francis. Throw it in front. It's deflected off a Bruin defenseman and right back to Lemelin.
There's the puck. What we're going to see right here, Rick, this is a shot Ronnie off the wrong foot. But after the play, we're going to see a lot of this next year when you talk about moving the net. A lot of play from behind the net. There'll be a foot more room to manipulate. We allow the forward to control the puck more there, forcing the defense to go after him.
Here's a break in the action. Ought to be a great time to break for the great taste of Bud Light. It's a big hit with fans everywhere because everything else is just alike. Samuelson shoots, and it's tipped wide by Verbeek. He tries to drive it toward the net. He'll get it once again. This time Poulin steps in front of his attempt. Babbage with a strong play at the point. Keeps it in for Francis. Krieger shoots. It's blocked. Galley stepped in front of that one. Galley has the puck. 6:15 to go in the second. The Bruins are trying to close that gap. They're down 2. It's been an uphill struggle for them all through this period. The Whalers made it 2-0. Here's a pass to Carter. He's onside. Steps around one man, but he gave up the puck. And Wesley will try it again. Whalers are on their third 2-goal lead. They led 4-1 on the 3-goal margin at one point in the second period. And we got a whistle near the Boston bench. Under 6 minutes to go here in the second. And the Hartford lead is now 4-2. See our score. We've had only 2 power play opportunities. They've both been partials. The Bruins had a 24-second chance in the first period, and Hartford's opportunity lasted the same duration. Here's Shaw with a pass ahead for Evason, broken up, and it's swept out of danger by Jennings. The dangerous duo of Janney and Neely are on the ice with Hawgood for Boston. Bradshaw. The pass to Deneen, kept in by the Bruins. A pass to Hawgood. His shot is knocked down. Neely muscles it toward the net. It's steered away by Sidorkovich. Bruin fans in the crowd wanted a penalty as Neely was dumped. Greg Janney. Tippett ahead to Evason. Deneen charges in on the off wing to Evason, and he's kept away from that pass by Christian. And the Bruins relieve the pressure. Cale Anderson, who had 19 points in 24 home games this season. He hasn't really parted from that trend with 3 points in the 2 home games in this series. Sidorkovich in some trouble. Tomlak calmly stick handles away from an open net and backhands it down the ice. 4.5 to go in the second. Poulin angles the pass to Gould. Gould steps in against Ladouceur for the angle. His shot is played away by Sidorkovich. Gould and Ladouceur head for the boards. As Young tries to get it loose, Poulin does a good job at trying to keep it in. Finally, Young has it. He maneuvers ahead with Tomlak. Scott Young, and the play's whistled offside. One of the very few we've had tonight.
We've had great up and down action. As I said, Rick, both of the Bruins' goals are a result of the Whalers having pressure and success in the Bruins zone, and you know, after they fail to score or get a scoring opportunity, they're not very wise in coming back. You know, it's tough there. There's panic in that situation, but nevertheless you can never argue their success down in the opposition's end. I'm sure this man right here is very happy with that.
Many errors are made. They're of enthusiasm and of intensity. Something that those few offsides indicate the Whalers have had in this series.
You know, all the times I was with the Boston organization playing the Montreal Canadiens, there were hardly any offsides by them. They just don't do it. And that's a great sign of intensity and discipline. And
Weimer angles the pass. Jennings takes it. Under 4 minutes to go in the second. Whalers by a couple. Here's a steal. Francis shoots. He scores!
What an important goal for the Whalers. 3:45 left in the second period. Ronnie Francis will steal the puck on a veteran, Jim Weimer, as Weimer will back into his zone, tries to make the puck through the middle. Bad spot to try and make a play. Then Ronnie uses Weimer as a screen and drives it by Reggie Lemelin. Boy, poor Jim Weimer in this play gave the puck up, fell a little early, allowing Ronnie to shoot past the right side, and Reggie had no idea where the puck was. A lot of screenshots tonight. Players going to the net, guys dropping.
Francis has 3 assists in this series to go with that first goal. Unassisted at 16-15. It's now another 3-goal Hartford lead, this time at 5-2. Neely checked by Tippett. Ladouceur pushes it out to center. Tippett has it. A 3-man rush develops. Tippett rolls it behind the net to Hull. Beers ahead for Janney. 3 Whalers get back. Evison drives in there against Neely. Janney throws it in front. Hull just simply backhands it down the ice. We'll have an icing called up coming here against Hartford.
Wow. Bob Beers, all he needed was a broom there. They curled this down to the ice.
Jerry, the Whalers in the third period on Monday, we said it was going to be important for them to overcome the experience factor that was in favor of Millbury's Bruins. It seemed that they just didn't make dumb plays on a rush, where, as we just saw, Tippett rolled the puck behind it rather than blindly throwing it in front, and that's the type of thing an inexperienced team might do. The Whalers avoided doing that down the stretch on Monday.
As we said at the start of this series, Rick, Bruins had all the experience, but there's only one way to gain experience. It's the play-in series like this, and the Whalers have progressed in leaps and bounds. This man in the middle, Todd Krieger, Ivan Korovo, Adam Burt getting their chance to play in Stanley Cup playoffs. Look at all these beards, except Ulf. Ulf didn't even attempt. I don't think is attempting to grow one.
They're making the smart plays, though.
That's right.
Shots are 12-11 Hartford here in the second. Now Jennings and Hawgood are having a disagreement, and Gary Fraser comes over to lay down the law.
Well, you have to like the way this game has been refereed. Let them play. As long as it's straight, no high sticking, that's good. You got to call that and the boarding.
Evison wins the big draw to Jennings. Picked up, though, by Poulin. Threw it in front, and it caromed off Shaw's right skate and away to the corner. Christian trying to get a rush underway. Lost the puck to Shaw. Galley drives it in. Deneen gets it loose. Hawgood sweeps it in front. Christian goes to Poulin, broken up by Brad Shaw. Mike Tomlak on the run. Kevin Deneen had trouble with a bouncing puck. Tomlak is content to play it back to his defense with 2:15 to go in the period. Deneen let the pass go. He was offside. Galley has Mikhail Anderson right on him. And we get the whistle. 2:11 to go here in period number 2. Hartford leads 5-2.
think they can get up to the record set last night at the Great Western Forum?
Wow, that was 5-4 Kings, right? 9 goals combined. Kings won that one 12-4, and coming up at the intermission, we check in at our Sports Nightly studios. We'll take you back to last night's explosive action at the Forum. Here's Pat Verbeek. He'll backhand it in deep in the Boston zone. Tomlak bumps with Glenn Wesley. Duras hounded by Verbeek. Pass out for Burridge, swept away by Babbage. Wesley's pass hit the glass support. Verbeek's trying to get something started here, but 3 Bruins are back with 1.5 minutes remaining in the second period. Hartford does not want to jeopardize a 3-goal advantage going to the dressing rooms if they can avoid it. Here's Beers. The pass broken up by Samuelson. Evason plays it just behind Deneen, and Peterson controls it. Carpenter had it poked away by Samuelson. Beers slaps it down the ice. No icing. Samuelson gets to it. Evason with under 1 minute to go. Turns it over to the Boston defense. Galley. Janney trying to get things started. Here's Carter surrounded by Whalers. Still has it though. He finds Craig Janney. He looks for Galley shooting, and it's deflected by Deneen up into the crowd with 44 seconds to go in the second period. From one of America's oldest cities, rich in tradition, comes one of the most popular marathons in the world. Watch the best international runners test their endurance in the Boston Marathon Monday at 11:45 a.m. live on Sportschannel.
Maybe some juggling of the lines. Even though Neely, Janney, and Carter are on, I think Rick Lee wants some fresh troops. They're going to leave Tippett on against Neely, but bring in Ronnie Francis and Jody Hull. Jody, who's been very strong along the boards, especially in his end. I know I've said this all year, but Jody Hull does know how to play the game.
Intensity is the question mark with Jody, and that's a lack of it sometimes has exasperated Rick and his assistant coaches, but he's got it tonight, and he's showing us he's a very capable player when he has it.
Strange spot for a face-off, especially in the last minute. You got the 3-goal lead. I mean, you just don't practice and go over with a face-off 12 feet inside the blue line. There should be a general plan here.
Out in the middle of no man's land. Carter's going to take this draw. Janney, of course, is playing with a tender left shoulder, injured on the final weekend of regular season play in Montreal. Kevin Deneen's back is just fine. He says, I don't even think about it on the ice. That's the signal to him that he's okay. The Bruins have the puck, and it's Peterson to Cam Neely. Out to Galley, shooting, kicked away by Tippett. Janney centers, and Neely had Francis all over him. 30 seconds to go in the period. Carter checked by Shaw. Janney has it. Quick pass is off a stick. Neely trying to get it on goal. It's blocked, and the puck escapes to center. 18 seconds remaining. Neely with Peterson striding in. Chopped away by Hull. Carter sails it in wide. Bradshaw has time to go after it. That's going to do it for period number 2. Now the Hartford crowd has a lot to cheer about. In a 4-goal second period, the Bruins scored twice. And let's look at the scoring summary. Evason had a first period goal to get it underway. Shaw made it 2-0. On his backhander, Dave Christian got one back for the Bruins. Kevin Deneen scored to make the score then 3-1. Ivan Corvo made it a 4-1 lead and a breakaway. Glenn Wesley scored through a screen to make it 4-2, and Ron Francis stealing the puck from the Boston defense quickly converted for the 5-2 score. The shots in the second period favor the Whalers by 1, and neither team has scored in the power play. No opportunities in the second period. When we come back, we'll be joining action between the New York Rangers and the New York Islanders. Their game 4 with the Rangers in front 2-1. 5-2 Whalers, two defensive-oriented teams. How do we get all these goals, you ask? Well, it was 1-0 Hartford after one, and then the scoring barrage began with Shaw's goal, and from there, the Whalers piled up three 2-goal leads, or pardon me, three 2-goal leads and two 3-goal leads. I'll get this straight. And Jerry, you're going to have everything organized and taking us through the highlights.
Well, that's easy for you to say, Rick, as we look at the stats of the last 3 goals of this period. But we talk so often about forechecking. What is forechecking? Forechecking starts with the first man taking the body. This led to the Bradshaw goal. What a perfect illustration of that from Dave Tippett. It'll end up on the stick of Bradshaw. You see some traffic in front of the net, especially Kevin Dineen and Beers, the rookie defenseman, and Reggie Lemling. He's trying to find out where the puck is, but he has it, and Bradshaw scores a backhander down low on the glove side, and this made it 2-0 Whalers. A couple minutes later, though, Craig Janney leads a rush up for the Bruins. This is after a lot of pressure by the Whalers in the Bruins zone, but they got caught up. They didn't have that third man high, and down the ice comes the Boston Bruins, led by a dangerous man in Craig Janney. We're having a little problem with the tapes. We'll get back to see it soon. But, Rick, we mentioned in that second period how the third man has got to be high, especially when you have the lead. No use for the defense pinching in unless the third man there, unless it's 100% in your favor.
Yes, our tape machines are smoking trying to keep up with all the goals that were scored in that second period. Now let's have a look.
Well, we're using the same tape machine as they used in L.A. last night, but here's the goal. Now watch what Christian does here. The smart thing, he's had a lot of experience, right to the net, and he takes a little pass from Craig Janney, and he just directs it by Peter Sidorkiewicz. And what a big goal for the Bruins, because up till now they were going nowhere. They were not getting great opportunities. This made it 2-1. Now Kevin Dineen, with some help from the linesman and Anderson, wrists one low on the glove side past Reggie Lemlin. This makes it 3-1. Now, a minute and a half later, Ivan Corvo with a great burst of speed, but a great play by Jody Hall in chopping the puck to the center ice area. Gets it to Corvo, and we're going to have to see that a little later on because we're really having technical difficulties with our tape machine. But it's coming up right now, and we're going to see some great speed by Corvo. Look at this. Jody Hall strong on the boards, and Corvo beats Gary Galley, freezes Lemlin with a fake shot here, goes to his forehand, and puts it on in the net. 4-1 Whalers, and goals were coming in a bunch right here. A couple minutes later, Bobby Carpenter will pick up the puck and find Glenn Wesley coming in late, and this is sort of an off-speed shot, like a shank almost. Peter Sidorkiewicz had no idea where it was, and this made it 4-2. And a big goal at the end of the period by Ronnie Francis as he intercepts the Jim Weimer clearing pass, and he'll shoot it to the right of Weimer, past the stick side of Reggie Lemlin, and a very important goal as it restored the Whalers' 3-goal lead.
And the Whalers have a 3-goal lead to protect in the third period. Join us in just a moment. The Whalers have the lead of 5-2 going into the third. We have a goaltender change by the Bruins as Reggie Lemlin surrendered 5 goals on 22 shots in 40 minutes, and Andy Moog, who beat the Whalers in Game 2, suffered the loss here in Game 3, will step in for Lemlin for the third period of Game 4. And there is Reggie Lemlin. From the draw, it's Don Sweeney getting to that loose puck, makes the pass. It's shoveled ahead by Carter. It's driven back in by Shaw. Jerry, what can we look for from the Bruins here in this first few minutes of the period?
Obviously, they have to play a different style than the style they played to finish first overall. They played a tight, grinding, checking style. They just can't be happy having the game finish at 5-2 Whalers. They have to create some scoring opportunities. Their defense will stay in. They'll be doing a lot of pinching here in this third period.
And as you expertly pointed out in the second period, the Whalers, I guess, have to mind their P's and Q's.
Well, really don't need any more goals, Rick. They'll get enough chances with the chances that the Bruins are taking to get goals, but they just got to be strong defensively, and starts right in the Bruins' end and forechecking.
Todd Krieger swings into the zone, chases down his own pass. Leaves it for Beek, but Wesley got to it first. Dave Poulin on the three-man rush gives it to Burridge. Burridge drops it, Poulin shoots it, and it was deflected off Randy Ladouceur and wide. Pierce falls down for Beek. Steps in, tried to drop it to Francis, and he couldn't get good wood on the pass. Back come the Bruins, 3-on-2. Francis hustles back to even it out. Wesley backhands it in front, a save by Sidorkovich. They score! Poulin hung in there, and the Bruins score at 1:28 in the third period.
This goal took place because the Whalers blotched a 3-on-2 at the other end, and it allowed the Bruins to come down. But this is really a 3-on-3 with Wesley defenseman leading the attack. I didn't think this originally went in, and it did, and it was a second attempt by Dave Poulin, and he just deflected it off the post. Wesley, who's had a strong gain for the Bruins, gets this pass under Randy Ladouceur, and very quickly, a minute and a half into the period, the Bruins are alive.
Wesley gets the assist on Poulin's second at 1:28. Teams have scored early in each period tonight. Evison at 1:18 of period one. Shaw early in the second, and Dave Poulin here to cut it to 5-3. Burridge stick handles in, and the play is whistled out offside. We've played a minute 40, and Boston has a marker on the board. It's a 2-goal lead. Let's pause for a regional break. Sports Channel's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs will continue in a moment.
Well, a line that's played very well for the Whalers is on the ice. Anderson, Tomlak at center, and Scott Young on the right side. I think what we put this line together, the fact that Tomlak could be on the ice at the same time as Bob Carpenter.
Tomlak's had a strong series, so has Carpenter. Here's Young getting to the pass, but it's an offside pass, and Shane Heyer blows the whistle. Jerry, the Bruins are without Bourque once again for the second straight game in this series, and I guess all the defensemen suited up tonight have to try to make like Raymond Bourque in this comeback attempt.
Well, now they have to try and really fill his shoes or his skates. This is two lines. You see the linesman, Shane Heyer, signal that. There's a guy that's really picked it up tonight, number 26, Glenn Wesley. I didn't think he played very well in the first 3 games, but he's coming to the front in this game. He's got skills, he's got talent. He has to apply himself each and every game to be important. See the Bruins with the only 2 shots, both by Poulin. One of them beats Sidorkovich.
Speaking of Bourque, he says he is going to try to be ready for Game 5. If the Whalers hang on and win this game, I don't think there's anyone who's going to be able to keep him out of Game 5. Here's Ferraro trying to poke it loose to Jody Hull. Galley with a pass ahead to Carpenter. He shoots, a save by Sidorkovich. Corrals the puck for Samuelson. Hull bounces the pass ahead to Ferraro. Ferraro races in. Corriveau in left wing. Tried to center. It was blocked by Wesley. And the net was dislodged from the Magnets as Jody Hull jammed the net with Bob Gould.
Two unlikely guys hooking up, Gould and Jody Hull. Ivan Corriveau once again with some speed around the left side, and he probably could have cut towards the net, but he saw Scotty Young going towards the net, or Jody Hull, I should say, and decided to try a pass. There's times in this game where you have to become a little selfish, but there's times in this game, but in the long run, it's the unselfish team that wins.
Randy Ladouceur, who had such a strong second half of the season for the Whalers and played well here in this series against the Bruins. They've needed his physical presence, and it's been there.
Rick, what do you think of all hockey players, most hockey players, growing beards for the playoffs? I think it's all right.
Sure, why not? Here's Ladouceur with a shot, a stick save by Andy Moog. The first shot he has faced since stepping in to start this third period for Reggie Lemelin. Francis clears the zone, no icing. No Cowboy Bill Flint didn't have a problem growing a beard at playoff time.
I just think it means that, hey, listen, we're really serious now. We don't even have time to shave or anything like that. We're all hockey.
You have to get a little meaner at playoff time, and you can look a little meaner with the beard. Here's Burridge checked, and Wesley trying to make a play. It's lifted off his stick and out of the zone by Ladouceur.
We might not see Alan Peterson or Bob Beers attacking, but Wesley and Galley, and we may see Hoggood on the point. They'll certainly, well, here's Bob Beers.
And Tippett put a stop to that. Grant Jennings trying to get it by, pulled and couldn't. Adam Burt steps ahead. He'll just backhand it in. Deneen. Checked by Don Sweeney. Galley and Tippett contest for the puck. Don Sweeney reaches in there. Fraser blows the whistle. Somewhere in there is the puck. There it is. 16-12 remaining here in the third period. Hartford's lead is 2 goals. On Friday night, we'll have more Stanley Cup action for you as we return to follow the action in the Wales Conference at 7:30. Some areas, including Connecticut, will see the Bruins and Whalers in Game 5 action. Others will see the New York series of the Rangers against the Islanders. Games may vary, so check your local listings for details. Evason wins the draw. Here's Shaw to tee it up. He fires. It's off a skate in front, and Galley motors ahead. Swings in, looks for Neely, trying to head for the net. He's run over by Grant Jennings. A big hit by Jennings on Neely. Neely said, "Here I come," and Jennings says, "No, you don't." Now Tomalak gets a shove from Neely. Jennings with the pass ahead for Kevin Deneen. He'll chop it in. Mo keeps it going for Carter. Kept in by Mikhail Anderson. Galley pressured by Tomalak. Galley gets it away to Carter. Samuelson cuts across for the puck, and it's brought in offside by the Bruins' Don Sweeney.
The Whalers have done a great job in Cam Neely in this series, Rick. They've, as we said at the start, they've been in his face all night, and he is one powerful man and a tough man to take down. He is cutting into the front of the net. Watch Jennings. He doesn't play the puck. He plays the man and crunches Cam Neely. Not too often Cam Neely is the man that goes down. He was attempting his third shot on net this evening. He had one in each of the last 2 games, so that's not many shots for a 55-goal scorer.
7 shots for the 4-game series so far.
The one thing, when you get 55 goals, you have to have a lot more shots than that. Give the Whalers credit. They're just doing a bang-up job in Cam Neely. No pun in playing words.
Samuelson says hello to Bobby Carpenter. Beers throws it ahead to Duras. Former Winnipeg Jet and St. Louis Blue. Steps into the zone. He shoots at Arkovich. Kept the pads together and made the stick save. Corvo bumps into Beers. Carpenter backs up the play. Hoggood trying to work it in front. Out comes Ferraro. Whalers lead 5-3, 14:46 to go in the third. Jody Hull lets one go wide. Sharp carom off the glass support, hit the back of the net. Carpenter sends it out to center, and Bradshaw takes it. He'll play it softly down the boards. Icing waved off. Beers hemmed in by Krieger. Hoggood angles the pass. That's dug away by Ladouceur. Don Sweeney gets to it, and this is an icing called against the Whalers. 14:16 to go in the third. Hartford leads 5-3. Let's pause for a regional break. You're watching the Stanley Cup playoffs on Sports Channel.
Once again, so important, the face-offs.
Bruins win this one. Galley shanks the shot wide. Ladouceur tries to get to it. Kerry Fraser finds himself in the middle of the action for a moment. Todd Krieger maneuvers out over the blue line. Burridge taps it back in. Ladouceur's pass deflected by Christian. Nice feed by Francis ahead to Krieger. Verbeek joins him, 2-on-3. The pass to Krieger broken up by Don Sweeney. Now Verbeek centers in front, and it's controlled by Galley. And the Bruins are off to the races. Here's Poulin cutting in. Burridge with a shot. Played away by Sidorkovich off the blocker. Burridge rolls it in front. Poulin goes down, wants a penalty call, doesn't get it. Wesley sends it toward the net. It dribbles off Sidorkovich's stick, and he will clear it himself. Wesley with a pass deflected by Burridge. We got to give the Bruins credit, Jerry. Every missed opportunity at the Bruin end. Here's Evason shooting, and it's deflected high and wide. The Bruins are able to turn it right around.
The transition game tonight has been terrific.
Here's Janney to Beers alone. He scores!
Greg Janney, he's uncanny in finding the open man, and this is a great example of it. Bob Beers, a very happy young player. Watch Janney just draws everyone to him. A missed assignment by the Whalers and their checking line, and Beers comes from nowhere to put the Bruins within a goal, and we have a hockey game. Boy, this puck looked like it got away from Beers, and he just kept reaching and put it in the right side past Peter Sidorkovich. It's up to the Whalers now to answer these 2 goals by the Bruins.
And the Whalers lost a little composure, a little intensity. We'll see if they can get it back. Here's Evason shooting, and it was blocked by Janney. He didn't know the puck was there. Samuelson has it. Samuelson fires in the goal mouth. The Dean is on his knees, and Moe reaches out to cover the puck. There it is. Plenty of pushing and shoving going on all around it.
Here's the shot. Oh, Samuelson, he's going to just direct it towards the net because he knows Kevin Dineen is somewhere in the area. Andy Moe is one of the best goaltenders in the league at finding the puck in a crowd in front of the net. He's got that, I mentioned it the other night a few times, he's got that neat little crouch that allows him to spot the puck quickly.
Dineen gets a warning from Fraser. Beers' goal came at the 7-minute mark, his first, of course, in his Stanley Cup career from Janney and Bob Gould.
Is that Janney's second assist or third tonight?
That is his second. So he had 2 assists in his first game, 2 assists tonight.
He just draws people to him. Then he finds the open man.
What would he be like if he were 100%? Here's Babbage with a shot, knocked out. Havlik hit the post. Well, remember that one. It comes at 7:28 of the 3rd period, and out comes Don Sweeney ahead to Poulin. It got away, and Ladouceur tries to clear. Don Sweeney's checked by Tomlak. Ladouceur got caught up in traffic. Anderson works it away. Burridge gets a head start and trying to catch up to him. Anderson's pass is blocked by Galley. Out comes Burridge. 3 Whalers back. Burridge shoots, and it's deflected away. We've played 8 minutes. Here in the 3rd, the Bruins are charging back. Their rally has reached 2 goals, and it's 5-4 now. Pulled it across. They score! Christian has tied it up.
I think it's time for a timeout. Regroup. See what's happening. The Whalers once again with possession in their zone. Dave Poulin is taking charge out here in this 3rd period. He finds his favorite partner, Christian. Once again, the Whalers just putting their heads down, going for the puck. Poulin, he just did this blindly, and Christian made no mistake, and we're in a 5-5 ball game. 3 goals within 8.5 minutes, 8 minutes and 10 seconds.
Since the first goal, it's been 6:42. Separating Poulin's goal, it made it 5-3, and Christian's His second of the night, third of the series, scored an 8-10 from Poulin and Beers, and Bob Beers made a heck of a play to keep that in.
Wow. Where did he come from?
5-5 with plenty of time left on the clock. Jennings steals the pass. He'll push it ahead. He'll charge in after it. Wesley golfs it away to Duras. He's buffed by Francis. And Carpenter picks it up. Back to Duras. Slides it wide as his shot was hampered from behind. Here's Duras. Beers from the point. He couldn't get the backhander away. And Francis sends for Beek on his way, and Beers gets back to take him down. Whaler fans want a penalty. They won't get one. Cool. Lifts it in deep.
Bob Beers, he should be wearing number 77.
Randy Ladouceur risks it in. Moog out to play it. Evason steals. Tippett. Pushed to the boards by Don Sweeney. He continues to work him over with that stick. A pass to Dineen. He shoots a save by Moog. Evason fakes the shot, trying to connect with Dineen. It's chopped loose by Galley. The puck's still loose. Janney got rid of it. Not out. Ladouceur puts it on goal. Dineen on the rebound to Evason. Evason rolled it toward the net. Janney got it away. Ladouceur with a shot. He fires it wide. Moog never saw that. He bumped into the net trying to get a whistle. He has a whistle. And it's not going to result in a penalty. 10-14 to go in the third. We're tied at 5. Let's pause for a regional break. You're watching the Stanley Cup playoffs on Sports Channel.
An important part of this time was right before the Christian goal that tied it up. Mike Tomlak, number 28 in front of your screen, is going to hit the right post, clearly beating Andy Moog, but it hit the right post, and down the ice the Bruins came. Now, this is just recently the work by Tippett, Dean Evason, and Kevin Dineen. Andy Moog, who I thought should have started tonight.
He kind of comes into this situation with no pressure. It's just, you know, hey, I got to play one period and take our chances. If I can stop him for 20 minutes, we'll just see what happens. Here's Tomlak shooting, and it's tipped wide by Beers. Wesley ahead to Poulin. Gains that line easily as Shaw. Got to chip it ahead. Tomlak's double team. Wesley chops it away. Babbage has it. Mikhail Anderson steams in. Tomlak joins into the play is offside. Shane Heyer halts play. We look at Bob Beers.
Well, Rick, I think, I hate to say this, but you look at it, I think the Whalers are tired of looking at him right now. Boy, did he come to life. We said that maybe Hoggood, Wesley, and Galley would be the guys pinching in and staying in, but it was Bob Beers. And I was trying to think of the way that the fourth Bruin goal, how it developed, but you can see that Janney drew a lot of the Whalers to him, but Bob Beers is a right defenseman. How he ever got open is beyond me.
Whalers have Corriveau, Ferraro, and Hull on the ice, backed up by Samuelson and Jennings. Whalers want to turn the tide around here. Boston with 3 goals in the span of 6:42 early in the third period has erased a 5-2 deficit and created a 5-5 deadlock. There's still 9.5 to go in regulation time. Here's the pass ahead, and it's shoveled rink wide. Corriveau gets there ahead of Carpenter. Galley dumps it in. Carpenter. Let it roll to the point. Don Sweeney shoots, and it's pawed away by Jennings. Samuelson has it. Jody Hull trying to chip it in. It hit Don Sweeney. Corriveau's onside. I think he thought he was offside.
No question about it, Rick. He was offside, but the linesman waved it okay.
Now we get a whistle. 9 minutes even to go here in the third period. We're tied up at 5.
team really going with 3 lines, trying to sneak the 4th one in occasionally. We haven't seen Byers or Bob Sweeney, not too much of Hawgood. It's funny how this game goes. You think you're home and cooled out and having some hay in the barn. It's not that easy.
Off the draw, the puck comes loose to Francis. Randy Ladouceur, bothered by Duras, got it over to Shaw. And now Beers has it. He's one of the men of the hour for the Bruins. Beers with Gould busting to the net. And it slipped behind Sidorkovich, hit the post and bounced away. Out comes Francis. Ahead for Todd Krieger. Krieger swings in. He's muscled out of there as Ladouceur shoots, and it's kicked aside by Andy Moog. Shaw plays it down the board. Beers gave it up to Krieger. Slips it to Francis. Stuffs it in front. Krieger backhands it in the goal mouth. That was blocked. Beers gloved it to Carpenter. It's kept in by Shaw. Krieger has it again. Backhands it for Beek with a shot. And it was blocked. He stuffs it in front. Francis pops it off Moog and over the crossbar. Verbeek has it again. Verbeek shoots. And it's deflected wide by Don Sweeney. Shaw races to keep it in. Duras has it. Drives it off the boards. And Krieger was peeling off for a line change. The Whalers will make that change, as will the Bruins. We have Janney and Neely on the ice for Boston. Whalers with the checking line out against them. Tippett is belted by John Carter. Here's the pass. It's by Janney. Babbitt keeps it moving to Ulf Samuelsson. And he tries to spin around him. Carter can't get it in front against Dean Evason. Wesley is pitched in to take on Deneen. Neely backhands it behind the net, and it's gloved by Sidorkovich. He'll wait for a whistle.
Well, the previous shift to this, Ronnie Francis, Pat Verbeek, and Todd Krieger all over the Bruins. Maybe a little too tight to Andy Moog, but certainly hard work from this line we see sitting on the bench. And previous to that was an attempt by the Bruins to take the lead. This is actually going to go by Sidorkovich as it was deflected and just skims the right post. Now we're going to see Patty Verbeek in front of the net. This is the pressure I was talking about. Just couldn't get good enough wood on it as it goes off the right pad of Andy Moog.
Evason in this draw against Carter. Samuelsson locates the puck. Angles it out to Tippett. He's belted by Gary Galley. Janney with a pass to Neely. Craig Janney trying to dipsy-doodle around Tippett. This time it didn't work as Tippett throws it back in. Galley with a long pass knocked down by Janney. And it's Samuelsson who steps ahead, slides it into Deneen. Neely was back to help out defensively. Tippett gets the pass, trying to center. Don Sweeney on the scene to block it. Been a big man around that Bruin net here in the third period. Tippett comes up with the puck. Over to Samuelsson. Wrists it into the corner. Galley locks up with Tomlak. Tomlak keeps it alive for Hall, trying to slip it to Anderson, and Janney steals. He races out. He tried to push it ahead to Carter. Babbage did a good job on him, but Janney steals again. Janney centers. This time Hall kicked it away. Jennings on the move. He'll chase down his own dump in. Mikhail Anderson's in there along with Hull. Jennings works it away. Christian bumps with Grant Jennings. Carter wants a whistle, and he dives on that puck, and Fraser blows the whistle. Under 6 to go here in the third. Whalers and the Bruins are tied. Let's pause for a regional break. Sports Channel's coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs will continue in a moment.
I'll tell you who's under pressure. Peter Sidorkovich on the right and Andy Moog. 5-5, 5:58 left. Like you said, though, Rick, Moog in a little better position. He just come into the third period, nothing to lose. Now he's the goalie of record.
Christian and Francis on the draw. The Whalers control. Samuelsson shoots, a save by Moog. He gets rid of the rebound. Corriveau trying to fire it in front. Verbeek chops at it. Francis reaches for it. Finally, Beers handles it. Sadorkovich comes out, takes a look. Samuelson will control things. Corriveau ahead for Francis. Verbeek's rushing up the right side, lets it go, and it's tipped wide by Wesley. Francis behind the net to Verbeek. He bumps with Poulin. Corriveau trying to center. Moog gets a whistle.
Ivan Corriveau playing left wing with Verbeek and Francis. You know, he's got a little more experience than Todd Krieger. There's going to be some very quick shifts here in this late going. The pace has been grueling.
The Bruins in this third period have 8 shots, and they've scored on 3. Hartford has had 6 shots, and they've been blanked by Moog so far. As you look at the totals.
This game has settled down after the Christian goal, but usually when a team's down 5-2 comes out and scores 3 straight goals to tie it up, that's certainly in their favor, at least the momentum is, but the Whalers have calmed it down somewhat.
Francis and Carpenter in this draw. The Bruins gain control. Galley. The pass ahead for Gould. He'll chip it in. They've changed the second assist on the Beers goal to Neely, not Bob Gould. So it's Janney and Neely on Beers first with 7 minutes of the period. Here's Babbage playing it to Todd Krieger as he steps on with Evason and Hull. Shaw gives it to Jody Hull. Back to Dave Babbage. Krieger lays it up the boards. And it's deflected out of play by Carpenter. Gary, so often you see a team come back from a deficit. They exhaust themselves in the effort to get even. Maybe it is up to Andy Moog to make the stops while the Bruins get their second win.
It certainly is, but once again, Rick, we mentioned the word experience a few times through this series. Their experiences became more evident after they tied it up. They knew they couldn't keep up that pace, and you know they lose their perspective defensively. So their experience showed. They settled right down. They know they're in a pretty good spot, tied, regardless of how many goals are scored, with only 4.5 minutes left in the hockey game.
What a crucial game. If the Whalers win, it's 3-1 in the series. Hartford, Boston wants to even it up at 2 games apiece if they can continue on the comeback trail here tonight. Don Sweeney fakes the shot, gets room, fires, and it's blocked in front by Samuelson. Hull fights his way to the corner, kicks the puck loose to Evason, and he chips it by Don Sweeney. Gary Galley wearing the captaincy with the injured Ray Bourque on the sidelines. Poulin, who's been so steady and strong for Boston in this series. Pass ahead for Mikhail Anderson. John Young maneuvers in, lets the shot go. He sails it high and wide. Anderson. And it's taken away. Now Young has it, pops it in front. And it dribbled away to Wesley. Now the Whalers keep it in. Tomlak to Young, shooting, and he sends it wide.
What a golden opportunity for the Whalers. Scott Young missing to the right of Andy Moog.
Whalers have had opportunities like that. Tomlak's goal post. Here's Galley playing it to Carter on the windup. Now he decides he'd rather make a play, and Babbage won't permit that. Here's the pass to Janney. Look out, he's behind the net. Janney in front, the shot kicked away by Sadorkovich. Janney's muscled out of there by Young. And out comes Randy Ladouceur. We welcome the audience that's been watching the Rangers and the Islanders. Here's our score in the third. The Bruins were down 5-2 going into this period. They've scored 3 times at 6:42 to tie it up. Here's Francis maneuvering in. Checked by Galley. Down they go, and in the net. The net has been pushed away from the Magnets on a collision involving Krieger and Carpenter.
There's been so much action around the nets this evening. It's a wonder. It's amazing the whistle hasn't gone more times than it has. Both teams going to the net, crowding the goaltenders.
We're down to 2:48 remaining here in regulation time.
What chances for the Whalers in the last few shifts? Here's an opportunity out in front. Now, the Bruins are going to skate past this puck after Mikhail Anderson pokes it off their stick, and Scott Young Missing to the right. Craig Janney's going to try and come out in his forehand. He's very poised for a young player. Now watch all the action in front of the net, but Sidorkiewicz does not leave the short side, stays on his feet and makes the save. Craig Janney being questioned by the trainer. No way in the world that he's going to leave this hockey game. One comment, Rick. Kevin Dineen is not on the bench, so he's just returned. Jody Hull took his shift with Tippett and Evason in the last shift.
Getting a save by Moog. Those viewers just joining us, he came in to start this third period. Reggie Lemelin trailed 5-2 after 40 minutes of play, and Moog has been solid filling in. It's tapped behind the net by Verbeek off the Corriveau pass. Look out, the net has been pushed over as Verbeek was dumped by Beers, and Andy Moog decides he better take a rest here, and he might be experiencing some back pain. Get out the Doan's pills.
I think he wants some rest. Corvo is just going to shoot this puck towards the front of the net. It goes off of Wesley, and I'm sure the people on the other side of the rink thought that went in. You know, it's amazing. We should tell our viewers, Rick, there's only been 24 seconds of power play to each team in this hockey game. Kerry Fraser saying, just play the game, boys.
The last penalties he called were matching roughing minors to Evason and Poulin in 8:19 of the second period. And prior to that, everything else took place in the first period.
It's amazing. There's times through the years you would have saw 10 or 12 penalties each team with all the action around the net. Gary Galley, the acting captain for the Bruins, questioning Kerry Fraser on a matter that we don't know about. Of course, Gary Galley could be asking me a lot of things. He's a hyper-type person.
Dean Evason leans into this big draw. We saw some of the sellout crowd of over 15,500 here at the Civic Center Coliseum tonight. Jennings plays it into Kevin Dineen, trying to stuff it in front. It's chipped away. And a big play by Wesley. And Shaw's back. 2:15 remaining in the third. Shaw hangs on to it. Slips it now to Dineen. Three-man rush into the zone. Tippett trying to get started after that pass. Burridge meets him. Poulin tries to poke it away. Now Dineen deflects the pass, and Don Sweeney controls under 2 minutes to go in regulation time. Cam Neely pushes it across to Burridge. Poulin's with him. Burridge, the backhand pass. It deflects on goal. Sidorkiewicz dives across. They score! The puck is in the net, and the Bruins have taken the lead 6-5 with 1:44 to go in the third period.
What a goal for the Boston Bruins. This was a 2-on-2 situation. The Whalers are going to argue this. But Dave Poulin, who got the first goal in this period. Let's watch this. You'll see Poulin following the play up with Randy Burridge. 2-on-2, Poulin going to the net. And this puck is, well, let's see. It's going to go to the right of Sidorkiewicz. Yeah, Kerry Fraser pointed immediately, signaling a goal. But Poulin doing the right thing. He's going to go right to the net now, allowing Burridge to cut over. And Burridge just tries to get it to Poulin, but it's going to deflect. You'll see it. This is a great angle here, I believe. You'll see it just sneak in. I don't know if Poulin will get credit or Randy Burridge, and there's a timeout, but what a crazy, crazy game.
Poulin will get the goal. It'll be his second of this big third period comeback, his third of the series. Neely and Burridge assist on the goal in 18-16. The Whalers, I'm sure, were arguing that Poulin directed the puck in with his skate, but
they were not going to win that argument. Kerry Fraser was right on the line. 1:44 left.
6-5 Boston. What a stunning comeback. They trailed 4-1 and 5-2 in the second period. Hartford had a 1-0 lead after one. The Whalers exploded in the second. The Bruins have stormed back and then some here in the third. Christian starts it in. Now he'll just dump it in. Babich with 1:16 remaining in the third period, and the Whalers have to generate the offense now. And Pat Verbeek wants to head to the net. Francis was tied up by Galley. Out comes Carpenter. Sidorkiewicz had started toward the net. He gets back in time to deflect that long drive wide. Babich the boards. A minute to go. Samuelson plays it ahead of Verbeek. Now Sidorkovich drives toward the bench. Verbeek flips it in deep to needs the extra man on. Galley dives on the puck. As play continues, Francis had it worked away by Don Sweeney. 42 to go. Francis trying to get it in front. It's poked between the point men, and Jennings has to give chase. The Bruins change up. Here's Verbeek getting a pass. Neely had it poked away by Jennings. Shaw saves it, puts it in front to Dean. Double team. Jennings works it into the traffic to Dean. Can't get a shot away. Anderson couldn't get a hold of it. It's sent to the point. Shaw has it. 17 seconds to go. Ferraro couldn't pick it up. The Bruins work it down the ice. 12 seconds left. Neely struggles to get there. He misses the empty net with 8 seconds. And Jennings has to work quickly. Dunedin is bumped by Gould. 2 seconds to go. That's going to be it.
There's no question about it, Rick. If the Bruins want to win this series, and they certainly will be favored now after this amazing comeback. Look at Mike Milbury. He's elated. Referee has to get these players off the ice. The game is over. Quite frankly, this is one of the most amazing comebacks I've seen in the game of hockey. You have to remember one thing. The series is 2-2. The Bruins haven't won anything yet, but the momentum in 20 minutes of hockey has certainly shifted in favor of the Boston Bruins. They'll be a tough team to beat Friday evening.
What a pivotal game, smack dab in the best-of-7 series. It either goes 3-1 Hartford or 2-2, and just the way the Bruins did it, as you mentioned, Jerry, with 4 unanswered goals in the third period. The first 3 in 6:42 got the Bruins on their way, and they win it 6-5 to tie the series at 2 games each. We'll return to wrap it up in just a moment.
I gotta give it to that guy.
Well, a raucous Civic Center crowd is emptying out into the streets here in downtown Hartford, peppered with Bruin fans, and a sellout crowd of over 15,500 on hand for this one. And they have seen a stunning comeback by the Boston Bruins. All Boston scoring-wise in the third period. Hartford had a 5-2 lead. Dave Poulin started to chip away with a goal at 1:28, scoring at his own rebound. And Bob Beers, the young defenseman from the University of Maine, dressing only because Raymond Bourque is out with that hip injury, and he is sent in alone on a Janney feed. He scores. Dave Christian ties it off a Poulin pass. And then the winning goal scored by Dave Poulin, his second of the game, his third of the series. Neely and Burridge assist with 1:44 to go. The shots in the third, as you would imagine, favor the Boston Bruins 11-7. No power play opportunity since very early in this hockey game. Each team had only 24 seconds of power play time, and that certainly differs from the norm that we've seen in the first 3 games of this series, as a lot of things have differed from what we saw in the first 3 games of this series. The Whalers storming out with a big second period, and the Bruins roaring back with a comeback to win it 6-5. We'll return with more from the Civic Center Coliseum in just a moment. Hartford Whalers Hockey on Sports Channel has been brought to you by Anheuser-Busch. We brew our fine quality beers to be enjoyed responsibly. Remember, know when to say when. And brought to you by Today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America. 6-5, the Bruins over the Hartford Whalers in a game that will live in the minds of New England hockey fans for a long, long time, unfortunately for Whaler fans.
It certainly will. I'm sure the Bruins are going to think about this game as they enter the game Friday with the momentum in their favor, but it's quite a hockey game, Rick, and you have to give the Boston Bruins a lot of credit. They come back from almost an impossible situation to win this hockey game. They never quit.
No, they did not. They had several stunning comebacks early in the regular season when they were just building the tremendous regular season record that they would end up with of 101 points. And they had a stretch of several big comebacks where they're not a big offensive club, but when they get everybody chipping in like they did in that third period, they can do it.
Well, they overachieve at certain times, and this is a great example of that. They're little guys, Burridge, Poulin, they just kept plugging away, and that's why they won this hockey game. Rick, we talked today in our telecast about adjustments. The Bruins adjusted twice to win hockey games. Well, certainly an adjustment was putting Andy Moog in goal in the third period. But now it's up to the Whalers to adjust to this unbelievable loss they suffered tonight to get, to going into Boston on Friday.
Jerry, let's pick up the highlights in the third period with a score 5-3 after Poulin's first goal. And we're going to see a Beers goal here, but the Whalers were not without their chances.
Well, Bob Beers is going to bring this game to within one goal. It seemed for a minute there that the puck got away from him, but it didn't. He kept with it, put it past the right of Peter Sidorkiewicz, and he's happy. It's almost like he knew what was going to happen. Now, this made it 5-4, and 30 seconds later, because I remember you mentioning at the 7:30 mark, Mike Tomlak, number 28 for the Whalers, he'll get a chance here. Clearly beats Andy Moog, but off the right post, and 30 seconds after that, Dave Christian is going to tie this game up. This is the 8:10 mark. Dave Poulin will take a pass from Burridge right here, turn and blindly throw it over to Christian. You know, this is something you practice. If there's two men on one side, where's the third man going to be? Somewhere over in the right. That's where he has to be. And Christian gets his second goal of the game. And this ties it up at the 8:10 mark. Then things sort of quieted down, and down the ice come the Bruins for the winning goal. This is a 2-on-2. You see Poulin at the top of your screen. He's just going to put his head down, bust towards the net, allowing Burridge to cut in. Burridge tries to get the puck to him, but as you can see right here, there is no intent by Dave Poulin to kick this in or direct it in with either his skate or his glove. He tried to put his stick on it, and somehow it made its way into the net for the winning goal. This was at 18:16 of the third period to cap a most amazing comeback by the Boston Bruins.
And it was something as they win at 6-5. And Jerry, now the season is, I shouldn't say the season, the series is now a best of 3. I guess both teams could take the approach, let's start over again. But the Whalers have got to be a little better prepared for the kind of onslaught the Bruins threw at them in the third period, which they're going to try to carry over Friday night.
Oh, yeah. The Bruins don't want to say this is a new season, 2 out of 3. They want to continue from that third period tonight. Rick, we said that the Whalers, they've played some fine hockey in this series up to the third period this evening. They put all they've had into it, but somewhere along the line you have to learn in this game. You'll have to learn how to play when it's 5-2 in your favor with a period left. How to defend that, and you don't have to make fancy plays. You don't have to get caught up the ice. You have to just, have the puck go forward all the time. And what led to an important goal was really fooling around with it inside the Bruin blue line, allowing the Bruins a break.
Jerry, it's going to be interesting to see how Peter Sidorkiewicz reacts to this, because he seemed to be the secret weapon as far as the Bruins were concerned. Obviously, Hartford Whaler fans and the Whalers knew of his capabilities, but the Bruins weren't too sure about him. He kind of had them on their heels. Now, what's the situation?
I think Peter's going to need a lot of help from his defense, Rick. It seems to me that the Bruins, especially in Boston Gardens, a smaller ice surface, are really going to jam Peter Sidorkiewicz. He has played a lot of hockey. He's not the biggest guy in the world, and the Whaler defense are really going to have to work at keeping these pesky Bruin forwards from coming in on top of them, as Poulin did on the winning goal. But Peter's an intelligent boy. He knows what it's all about. He knows he has to come up with a big effort, as all his teammates do Friday night in Boston Gardens. And believe me, it's going to be a wild one.
It should be one, that's for sure. It now becomes a best-of-3 series with the Bruins holding the home ice advantage. We'll return with more from the Civic Center in just a moment. Six to 5, the Bruins over the Whalers with that stunning 4-goal comeback in the third period, Jerry. And who's our hero tonight, our Budweiser player of tonight's game?
Well, obviously, it's got to be a Bruin, Rick. They got a lot of great efforts from Bob Beers, for example, the player that's filling in for Raymond Bourque. But I think the real catalyst in that comeback victory was Dave Poulin. He got the first goal of the period, and that's really what led to the comeback victory for the Boston Bruins. If he did not get this goal, I do not think the Bruins would have won the hockey game.
But he's going to get 2 chances here. There's the first chance, and he just stays with it and bangs the second chance past Peter Sidorkiewicz, and that made it 5-3, and the Bruins just believed from there that they could get back in this hockey game, and they certainly did. He was the leader tonight. And don't forget Dave Poulin, Christian, and who plays on right with Andy Burridge on left wing, I should say. They were out there to stop Ronnie Francis' line with Todd Krieger and Patty Verbeek. Not only did they do that, though Francis got a goal, they got a few goals themselves. Don't forget Christian got 2 goals, Poulin 2 goals.
That's right, and Poulin assisted on that second Christian goal that tied the score at 5 with a nice pass across for Christian, going with the shot that beat Sidorkiewicz to tie it at that point at 5 each. But Dave Poulin is our Budweiser player of tonight's game. Let's update you on the coming games in the coming days here on Sports Channel. Don't forget to join us tomorrow night. We'll bring you Campbell Conference action beginning at 8:30 as the Chicago Blackhawks host the Minnesota North Stars, followed by Los Angeles at Calgary. Our next Wales Conference telecast will be on Friday night beginning at 7:30 in some areas with a Hartford-Boston series, or at 8:30 with the Islanders at the Rangers. These games may not be seen in all areas, so check your local listings. Stay tuned now for Sports Nightly, followed by Rockingham Report at 11 p.m. And then catch the tape-delayed action of either the Whalers and Bruins or the Islanders and the Rangers. For Jerry Cheevers, this is Rick Peckham saying goodnight from the Hartford Civic Center Coliseum. Our final score once again, the Boston Bruins 6 and the Hartford Whalers 5.